Welcome back to the We Was Watching podcast. I'm your host, Brandon.
I'm your other host, Chanel.
And we are back to talk about episodes 4 and 5 of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. But we have a special guest this week. We have one of my very good friends and friend to the apparently, I don't even remember she's been on the podcast before.
Friend of the show. Definitely.
Friend of the show.
How
Charmaine. Hey, Charmaine.
What's up? I'm actually
Welcome
really
back.
upset that you don't remember me from House of Dragons. So it's all right. It's okay.
You know how long ago that was?
We're close friends. That's fine. That's
It was 3 calendar years. I'll give him that much. It was
fair.
it was a minute ago.
Yeah.
It's like
that's
20
fair.
years. But before we get into this episode, introduce Charmaine. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can leave us a review. If it's 5 stars, we'll read it on the show. So now we got a 5-star review, but I forgot to tell you yesterday. So if you want to pull that up and read
I
it.
thought I checked yesterday. It wasn't up. We read this one.
No, we didn't read that one. We read the one before that one.
No, we read this one.
We
But I'll
read
read
both
it again.
of them?
Okay. Yeah.
No, never mind. They don't read it. They don't get double.
Okay.
They don't get double publicity.
But shout out to you, Queen of the Marsh, just in case we didn't. And Mumble Jumbo, you too. I think we got 2 in the same. Oh, maybe I didn't do this one. Okay, 5 stars. It says thank you. I'm so glad I found you guys. I had no one else to discuss industry with. I just discovered it at the start of season 4, so I definitely needed emotional support after binge watching 3 seasons. You're the only Black pod I've come across going into depth about the show. Love you guys. As I finish it, we've definitely read it. But there you go. You got 2.
You earned that buck like a
go
motherfucker,
around
man.
in here.
That's right. We earned that. Did y'all hear that? Can y'all still hear that?
No, you did the sound.
Yeah, you
bumper?
didn't hear the sound?
I did not hear. Mm-mm,
Oh,
not this one.
man, how I get the sound to work? Oh, I meant to figure that out. Okay. That sucks. I have a great sound today. Anyway, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can watch us on YouTube at youtube.com/@WeWasWatching or just search for the We Was Watching podcast. Like our videos, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell so you can see us go live. You can also email the show at WeWasWatchingPodcast@gmail.com. Tell us what you think about this season. We're coming up on the season finale. We're also coming up on the penultimate episode of Industry. So tell us what you think about both of those, and we will read those emails on the show. Oh, I know why y'all didn't hear it. And you can also follow us on all the social medias at We Was Watching. I've been on. Chanel told me about this thing called Threads, guys, which I figured out is a thing that exists. And
He figured that out last week.
I've been on the Threads, tweeting on what do they call it on Threads? Threading?
Threading. Mhm.
That's so corny. That's so. I've been on the Threads tweeting about the different shows. So go follow us on Thread and interact with us so we can have some fun on the Threads. You know what I found about the Threads? The Threads is way more reasonable than the other.
It's great.
Other ones.
Okay, Charmaine, let me just tell you real quick. I've sent him multiple threads and been like, please join Threads. And he's ignored it. He has like a whole thing in his inbox because he also has a Threads account attached to his other podcast that he doesn't know. I don't know why he doesn't know, but he has a whole group chat with me, our show, and his show. And so long story short, he finally got on it. But my theory about Threads is because it's attached to like most people's real Instagram, people are just more grounded on there than if you can just create 10 dummy accounts with dummy emails on Twitter. That's my theory.
Twitter's full of a bunch of bots and people just yelling at the top of their lungs about every topic. And every topic, if you go in the comments, it's the exact opposite opinions, right? There's not even, I don't even want to say middle ground. There's not even like less opposite. It's just complete opposites opinions. And then when I went on Blue Sky felt like
I fucking forget I have Blue Sky.
Blue Sky felt like
a nonprofit.
Blue Sky felt like those people thought Star Trek was real. And I was like, yeah, Star Trek's not real, guys. Like, you guys think Star Trek's real, it's not real. And then Threads is like, I feel like the Threads thing leans left, but it's not like insane, and the people aren't screaming at each other. And I was like, no one's screaming at each other. This is so refreshing.
So I don't have Threads, so I can't see any of the thread. Like, it doesn't let you see it if you're not on it. And the reason why I didn't is because their what's it called? The agreement.
Terms.
Their agreement says they own your stuff.
That's right.
So I can't. I don't want to do that.
Well, I'm not creative like you, so they can have all my boring shit.
And you can never delete it. Like, it's like something where, like, once you have a threads, you can, like, I think you could delete your threads, but you can't delete the account. And I was slow to sign up for that reason, Charmaine. But then I joined and I haven't looked back because it's one of those, like, end of the world distractions that I'm okay with.
Okay.
It's not good. It's terrible for my data, but I'm having a good time. So this is my form of smoking cigarettes, basically.
I gotta try to figure out a way to connect again because I'm like, I've stopped doing TikTok. I've stopped doing Twitter ages ago. I forget about Blue Sky.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I know anything that's happening anymore.
No, Threads is it. Also, speaking of, though, what's happening? Go ahead, Brennan. Go ahead.
No, I had to give Charmaine the disclaimer. So just so you know, Charmaine, before we get into this recap, this is a woke show, okay? So we can't have any of your problematic, like, opinions and activities on the show. I'm the woke person on the show.
That's his thing. That's his thing.
I need you to stop. Chanel, do you know Brandon's been on my case for years about
you want to embarrass yourself? Tell her.
Joker because I have to put white paint on my face to be Joker, and so he says I'm problematic because I do white face.
But Joker puts white paint on his face.
That's what I said.
Is the Joker problematic?
Of course, but
that's not why, though.
That's not why.
It's clown makeup.
You cosplay a character. It's not. Well, I'm never supposed to do it.
The Joker is white. He can put white face paint on his face. Black people can paint their face.
I'm
not putting on white people face. I'm putting on white clown cake makeup.
Oh, white clown.
Those are different things.
I got you.
That's why I ignore him when he does that.
You've been trying to tell me I wasn't woke for years.
He looks for those little, like, loopholes, and you just gotta, I mean, as you know, knowing him longer than me, you just gotta push through it and just ignore. I do tend to tell him, though, like, don't do it so early in the episode because new people might believe him. And then it's like, okay, now we have a whole weird dynamic.
The people agree with me.
So they don't. Before we get into the recap, though, Charmaine, tell them about your show real quick. Tell them a little bit about you. Just, like, introduce yourself to the listeners.
I am a little bit kind of on extended hiatuses from a lot of my shows right now because my dumbass decided as a 48-year-old widow to go to law school. But the catalog is there. So if you want to listen to my shows, I'm the host of the Militantly Mixed podcast, which is the first mixed race identity podcast that like stuck around longer than 12 episodes. That show just hit its 7th anniversary back in July. I co-host a show called Blurred Comics with my homeboy from childhood, Blur Vision, aka Sean Bay, where we talk about blackness and blurred shit from a couple of mixed black blurs. And I have a show kind of with Old Man Wade, but we're not consistent because of me, called Curmudgeons for the Culture, where we basically just complain about the stuff that we love. For the most part.
Dope. Thank you for sharing. We're gonna make sure to add the links in the show notes, right, Brandon?
Nah.
Okay,
they can Google. Google's free.
They'll figure it out. No, we'll add it in there. Thanks for being here. Yeah, when we have the other reason why Charmaine's here and has been here before is because when we kicked off this show, it was originally supposed to be a Succession podcast, but we missed the second season wave, so we started for House of the Dragon, and that is, you're basically an expert. You're a blurred expert on House of the Dragon, George R.R. Martin. You've seen the shows, read the books, so we're happy to have you here to answer some of my silly questions.
Cool. Yeah, that I was telling Brandon, that's my sword fantasy that I'm into. So like Lord of the Rings is okay, it's fine, and I know it's like the parent to George R.R. Martin's work, but yeah, Game of Thrones for me, or The Song of Ice and Fire for me is where it's at. So yeah, I'm excited.
All right, let's get into the recap.
Once upon a time in the projects, yo.
All right, so we're gonna start with episode 4, and because we got to do 2 episodes this episode, we're gonna move a little bit quicker through these, although we might not have to because the shows were only like 30 minutes long, so it's really like doing one episode of Industry, to be honest. And there's way less plot.
The 2 thickest parts of the
You
story.
must not watch Industry. if this
All
was
right,
industry,
haven't seen it.
We
these
go
two
too hard on
episodes,
industry.
these
Yeah.
2 episodes would have been like 20 minutes of industry. They'd have done these whole 2 episodes in 20 minutes, and they'd have
You
been
have
on to
to watch
something
industry
else.
if you don't.
Haven't watched it
Pro-
yet.
a problematic mixed black woman is
Oh
the
no, you
lead.
would. Oh yeah, you would love industry actually.
Because you have you would have so many
actually love
opinions on
industry.
Harper.
I saw a intro to it because like I was watching Seven Kingdoms and then it
Mhm.
kind of
Right.
faded into the next thing and I was like, what am I woke up. I was like, what am I watching? So I think I know who you're talking about, but I had no
Mhm.
idea she was going to be problematic. Um
She's great.
She's
I mean, I
not
love her.
problematic. She's just terrible.
Yeah.
She's just terrible.
No, yeah. You're right. She's a bad person, but she's not like problematic. She doesn't need to be canceled. She's honestly. Anyway, that I just finished watching the America's Next Top Model documentary, and it's Tyra Banks. You know, it's like she's a product of her environment. She's doing the best she can, and she's like the best of the worst, in my opinion.
mm.
I don't know. I wouldn't say she's the best of the worst. We've
That's a
seen
hot
better
take.
people in industry than Harper.
Okay, fair enough.
We start in Dunk's cell on episode 4, which is called 7. And he's in his isolated cell. And they do this really cool tight shot of him behind like the storming outside and the little teeny bars where he's looking out. And he goes over to talk to the rat because, you know, Dunk likes to talk to animals. So he goes over to talk to the rat. And the rat's just trying to hide from the rain. The rat's like, I don't know why are you bothering me. I'm just trying not to get wet.
He's like, you're the only one who wants to see me. Like people normally give me my space.
Imagine being a rat and getting petted for the first time. Like what is happening?
Like you're nasty.
And then Egg comes in his full noble attire. He's back to being Prince Aegon. He's not cosplaying anymore with the slums. And he has some service and they bring Dunk some food. And Dunk starts eating his food like he ain't ate for weeks. And I'm like, Dunk, we just saw you eat last episode.
But it's been nearly 2 days.
It's been 2 days?
Yeah, he hasn't they put him in that cell and then they did not fuck with him for nearly 2 days. So he's starving.
Okay. I thought it was like yesterday.
In the book.
He's a growing boy. He needs his.
I was like, Dunk, I just seen you eat that big ass quail and egg and cheese sandwich yesterday.
As big as he is, he burned that walking out the tent.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's tearing that shit up, and it's clearly not salt beef. And Egg said,
actually, in the book they remark on it where he says he's eating the food and he's like, "There's some what do you call it? High Lord seasoning. I know not of."
Look at Chanel. Look at that. See that? The Targaryens use seasoning. You see that?
It probably doesn't taste great. It's like when you go eat French food and you're like, this just need Lowry.
Chanel,
like,
they named their kids Rhaenyra, Aerion, Darren, Damon.
That's good one.
And poor folk don't know seasoning. They don't even get salt. So
that's true. That's true. Okay, I'll give you that.
Exciting. Yeah.
And so Egg said his uncle wanted him to apologize for deceiving him. And Dunk's like, you knew what you was doing, boy. He was like, I ain't never heard of no Prince Egg. And I'm like, this man's so stupid.
He's so
really
stupid. I love a dumb character.
Well, I'm stupid too because I didn't put it together until the reveal, Charmaine. I was like, oh yeah. And then I realized his eyebrows are blonde. It just took me a minute. So I'm right there with him.
No, he's even dumber in the book from what I understand.
He's dumber. And honestly, this scene is a surprise because he's like a lot more aggressive in it. Where in the book, he's just like so confused as to why people aren't honorable. And he has done a big lie, but it still takes him a while to figure out that Egg's lie is not much different than his lie.
And but in the books, from what I understand, the Targaryens got purple eyes, right?
Yes, but Egg has super dark, nearly black purple eyes. So because his grandmother is from Dorne, so they're brown. And his mother is from the Dane family, like Arthur Dane, the son, Sword of the Morning, that guy, who was protecting Jon Snow's mom. They're dark too. They're pale skin, black hair, dark. So Egg's eyes, in particular, are easier to hide than Aerion. Yeah. They actually say that in the book. They mention it like 3 or 4 times.
Dunk asks Egg, was it a jape? You know what that word means? You know jape?
He says, do my love cost a thing? He's basically asking, like, were you cosplaying to make me seem cool in high school, or was this real?
He said, you trying to make a fool of an old hedge knight? And Egg said he was supposed to squire for his brother Darren, but he's a shit knight, and he didn't want to enter the list. And so he didn't think he was doing nothing wrong. He figured he'd just roll along with you. And Duck said, of course you knew you was doing something wrong. That's why you lied to me. I was like, you're absolutely correct. But then Duck started making up shit. Duck's like, you told me you was a stable boy. And I was like, Egg never said that.
Yeah,
you said that.
You said that.
You said he's a stable boy. He started lying, and Egg don't want to needle him. So he's just sitting over there. He's kind of crying. And Egg apologizes. And then Dunk was about to yell at him, and he was like, maybe it's just bad luck we found each other. And he's like, what's up with me? What's going to happen to me next, Egg? And Egg says, well, my uncle wants to see you when you're done eating. He was like, all right, then. I might as well not keep him waiting. I already kicked the shit out of another
he's like,
prince.
That just ruined my appetite.
This is how honorable I think Dunk is that this boy is starving. And there's a whole portion of the book, the section of the book where he's just like, hunger, he doesn't know more. Like he's used to being hungry, but this is like hungry because he knows he's going to die and stuff like that. And the fact that he only gets a couple bites in and then he's like, I'm not going to leave a prince waiting. Man, you could have gotten that food in. Like you had the window. But I think that's part of his like honor is that he thinks of them as so much better than him, that he's just gonna fold on it, which is like one of the saddest things about him, that he always thinks everybody else is better than him.
Yeah, I think I've been saying 2 thoughts. One is that I've been saying this is like a good proxy for what's happening right now with like people who are lower paid but like aspire to be rich in this country, and like what they'll fall for, or like the character like benefits that they'll assign to people in power, thinking, well, the only reason why is because they must be, so much smarter and better. And then as we realize, it's like, no, they're just more ruthless and they don't value other people the same. So therefore they value money more. Like that's what it's just so interesting how I think he plays that out, or like our kind of how we let capitalism dupe us. And the other thought, and this is so random, but I was trying to remember what movie this reminds me of. Basically, Egg did Gone in 60 Seconds. He acted like a valet, but he was really there to steal cars. And that's basically what Dunk did. Dunk was like, here you go. Here go my keys. Don't leave a mark on it. He gave him the keys, and Dunk was like, I just have a vest on. Like, I didn't tell you I was going to work a valet. That's what that reminds me of. So just need to get
in
that
the
joke.
book. It's crazy because Egg is naked in this meeting. He just gets out of the like little lake or pond that's nearby, so he's like drying himself off with a rough spun hood, like cloak, and that's all the information Dunk has is that he has this cloak and he's butt naked, and Dunk is just like stable boy, like he just makes the assumption right away. And Egg says, when you called me a stable boy, like everything changed for me. Like he knew, he was so upset at his brother for making him hide and not go to the list, that he was just like, everything changed for me in that moment. But Dunk had no information. He just made the assumption. I'm glad the child wasn't naked in the show though.
Yes.
So then Dunk goes to meet Prince Baelor, and he comes in and he bends the knee. Baelor tells him to rise, get your ass up. He says, hey, go pour him a cup. And don't spill that shit either. And Dunk said, Egg's a good boy. He's a good squire. He ain't going to spill it. He meant no harm. And Baelor said, one need not intend harm to do it, which was a great line in that episode. I wrote, I said, what a great line. I had no idea what was going to happen in the next episode. And I was like, oh, that's even a better line after the next episode. But Baelor said that Aegon should have came to him instead of running to you. He did you no kindness. And Egg was like, he was about to kill his ass.
Yeah, it would have taken him a long time to get that message into the castle. Like all them people would have been dead, and then what?
Yeah.
And then he says, that's no matter. And then Egg said, I wish Dunk would have killed Aerion's bitch ass. And Baelor said, that's your brother. And the gods say, thou shalt love their brother, even if the brother's a trash can. That's what he said. And he sent Egg away. He says, all right, be gone. We about to have grown man business, grown people business. Get out of here. So Egg leaves. And you see Egg walks out so proper. He even had his hands behind his back like a butler. He was so popular, so proper. He walks out and he said, Baelor was like, hey, dog, can you fight? And he said, Sir Arlen taught me shield and sword and lance. And Baelor was looking at him like, you don't sound confident if you can fight. And then he said, my brother said that you kidnapped his son. And he was like,
no, his brother's son.
Oh yeah,
his
my nephew said that. And he was like, that's bullshit. You don't believe that. He was like, it ain't really up if I believe that shit. That's what he said. And then he says, he was like, I left that shit 4 days ago. He ain't even go looking for him. That don't sound fucked up to you?
He came back on his own accord. He was walking. He had a coffee. You know what I mean? He was not rushing to get back.
And so then he said, what's going to happen to the girl? And she said, well, I mean, when Aerion's done, it's going to be treason. And he's like, treason for a puppet show? And he was like, that's an attack. He said, he said, Aerion calls it a veil attack on House Targaryen. And Dunk says, you believe that bullshit? And Baelor didn't answer. He just said, I know something that is true, though. You did slap the shit out of a king's grandson. Like, you can't do that.
It's got to be so frustrating for one of the few good Targaryens, which Baelor is like categorically one of the best Targaryens, to know your family is shitty, but know you have to uphold them at the same time. Like, it must be so frustrating for him because he knows they're all terrible.
This is what Chanel and I were talking about in a previous episode. It's like Secret Service and like all the stuff with government. Like the government like has to do some of this stuff, except when you get someone who's completely devolved of any morality at all, then they just take advantage of all those rules and things that are put in place, right? So Aerion's just like, oh yeah, I know. Like I can manipulate this to myself. And Baelor's like, I mean, if I don't do it, like we talked about the last episode, we were like, when he hit her, he could, even if Aerion was good, right? He couldn't have just been like, all right, Dunk, go home. Because if you do that, then everybody's going to be like, oh, we can just go hit the prince. Like, there's no consequences. We good then, right? So he had to do something, but it's fucked up when you don't have no morality. So then Baelor was like, he said, you believe that bullshit? And Baelor didn't answer. He said, you slapped his grandson, the king's grandson. And Dunk said, he was about to kill my girl. What you want me to do? And Baelor was like, bruh, y'all ain't even going on a date yet. What are you talking about? But he said, you would have done the same. Would you have not? He said, maybe, but I'm rich. You ain't rich.
He's like, he's like, I'm literally the son of a cop. Like, they let me off every time. So I don't know why you would think the rules are the same for you.
Right.
And Dunk said, but we all took the same pledge, did we not? And Baelor basically acknowledges him without saying anything. And he looks him in the eye again. He says, I'm going to ask you again. Do you got hands? Can you fight? And so then we cut to this room with all of them in there. Maekor, Aerion, Baelor, Lord Ashford. I don't know. Who's the other guy? Who's the other guy in there?
I think it's his brother, because like Game of Thrones likes to have twins in the room. Okay. But I forget what house his brother has, because I know he would go by whatever the house name is, like Dondarrion or something like that. I don't remember what house his brother belongs to.
But his brother's all the way over there in the end, and he act like he don't even belong in the room because Aerion basically bitches him at the end of this.
No, actually, he's the Lord He's the Lord Ashford. The
Lord Ashford was one all the way on the end? Okay.
I don't even know why he's in that position. It's so awkward because he's the guy.
Yeah. So Dunk comes in and he says, trial by combat? ? And Aerion was like, Baelor's like, that's your right. And Aerion was like, I refuse. And his daddy was like, what you mean you refuse?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Like, literally.
And Aerion
He's like,
said,
you already, because honestly, the dad is shitty, but the dad is also like, you kind of, there's a little hint of like, this is all your fault. Like, you did this. And I did
Yeah.
appreciate seeing the dad, like, you know, he pulled him by the ear a little bit in public and gave him a little dressing down. But at the end of the day, he's going to stand 10 toes behind his son, which I get. But yeah, him sitting there and like he's trying to get out of any other consequences for what he's done.
and he said, Baelor was like, you can't refuse. You either have to withdraw your claim or you got to accept it. And then Aerion was like, I mean, I read books. I don't know about y'all, but I read all the books. And I read like, it's like some real fine print on this one textbook that y'all ain't read in a long time. It's called Trial of the Seven. I want that. And his daddy was like, what the fuck is a Trial of the Seven? You know, I don't know how to
That
read.
bothers me because his daddy knows in the books. This is like something that
Oh, that
they
was
know.
new?
Yeah, so that they changed Makar because Makar and Baelor are like best friend brothers, and they have this history, this amazing history. I hope I cannot wait to see this because they're doing an animated show, where they kill off the first Blackfire Rebellion, which is the bastard Targaryens that get made legal or legitimate later, so it's sparks off this whole thing. But Baelor and Makar work together, and they in the battle, and they call Baelor the hammer, and they call Makar the anvil. So Makar is like the unmovable kind of dude or whatever. But he actually is honorable, but he's salty. And so Baelor is like this nice, you know, the realm's delight, and Makar is looks more like the blood of the dragon, so people like him and he's a good warrior. His biggest flaw is his love of his children, so that's why he comes off bad on the show, because he does, with Aerion in particular, he spoils him because he's put all his hopes into him because he looks the most like him. He's one of the better fighters. The older brother Daemon is a terrible fighter, and he's plagued by the dragon dream, so that's why he's kind of worthless. And Aemon is going to be a maester, and then Egg is the little one, so he's got all his hopes into Aerion, and that's why he kind of placates him. So I wish they didn't do that in the show, because it's like what we want to see with like a Batman character, where he thinks he's honorable, but he does bad, you know, but he does bad. Where Baelor and Makar are like, Baelor's the honorable example, and Makar is like, here's how you do good and do dirt at the same time. And that's how those two brothers
he
are.
should know. Okay, that makes more sense to me. It just clicked.
Always hating.
It just clicked. It just clicked.
So I don't remember. Did his reaction was, what is that? Not like, why would you say that?
Yeah. So in the book, he's like, what, are you kidding me? You're gonna do that? You know, I do like the sarcastic thing in the show where he's like, well, if the Andals created it, you know, we got to do what the Andals want. I do like that. But yeah, in the book, he knew and says kind of what Baelor says, but in the show, they switch.
But basically, you could tell the people with some kind of context are like, this is so dumb. Like, you think this is going to work, but it's not. But again, it's like, it will work if you use all your privilege. And like, if you're willing to cut corners and cheat, then like, yeah, we can work this out. But I think that's another reason why the dad would be like disappointed, is because the only way he could win is by cheating at this point. Or either way, the only way he could win is by cheating.
Plus, you're putting the royal family up at risk, because you have the assumption in that moment probably is that Baelor, Makar, Aerion, and Daemon would definitely be in there. And if Daemon wasn't a terrible fighter, they would have eliminated him and used Baelor's son, who is there but is not in the show for some reason, because Baelor's son is a better fighter. But they didn't.
We saw him. We saw him earlier episode when Aerion was talking about he was going to challenge him in the jousting match, and he was like, not this time today, cousin. And then he goes over and challenges the Hardy guy and stabs his horse. That was Baelor's son.
That was Baelor's oldest son?
That was just one of his sons.
Okay.
The conversation, but who he kills the horse is not
No,
Baelor.
before that, when he was like, he looks at his cousin. He's like, maybe I'll challenge you. And he's like, not today. I'll let you survive today. That's Baelor's son.
Yeah,
No, that
but
makes
they're
sense.
not
I guess I
using
was just-
him.
Yeah, maybe they will. I guess because I forgot he was around. So curious.
He's
about
the one that has like that white, like he's got like blondish brown hair, but he's got this white strip. So it's like some of the Targaryen gene caught, but not all of it. That's
Let me just go
Baelor.
here and look.
So then Aerion, Baelor's like, all right. I mean, that is his right. Like it's something that came up way back when with the Andals, and he brought up this bullshit, and it's basically a 7-on-7 fight. And Maker's like, you scared to fight this man? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, just go fight him. You supposed to be holding up our honor. Take out the hedge knight. And he's like, actually, Dad, it's not because I'm scared. It's because I want to honor Darren. He was wrong
Damon.
too. I thought it was Darren.
No, it's Damon.
It's Damon?
Mm.
Oh. He's like, he was wrong too. He's like, all right. And then he's been eating nuts. And he smashes a nut and it rolls across the table and falls on the floor. And he looks at one of the Ashfords and he was like, come on now. You better get
Such a
down there and
cunt.
get that shit.
I hate this guy.
Such a dickhead.
And so Baelor says, all right, Sir Duncan, you must find 600 knights to serve you. And Dunk was like, but I don't know nobody. What you mean? And Aerion was like, well, if the cause is just, then they will fight for you. And if not,
Such a
the
cold
gods say
line.
that you don't deserve it. And then he goes, all right then. And he leaves and he's walking outside in the rain and he goes back to his tree, and he's checking on his horses. And Raymond's there and he'd been watching the horses. He's like, hey dog, I'm glad you're alive. They hug and embrace. And he was like, look, you my dude, but can we get out this rain? Because I'm not really trying to live under no tree like you. And he's like, come with me. And so he goes back to the crib, and then we meet the other Fosterway, Sephirin. So Sir Sephirin, and he's up there talking cash shit. I saw what they did to the puppet lady. That was fucked up. You did the right thing, and that's why I'm with you. And
If he had kept his honor, that would have been such a moving fucking moment.
Yeah, it was dope because it
In
was the
the-
only thing giving Dunk any type of hope. His whole
Right.
thing was he's like, I'm already cooked. Like he was like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make it through this.
To think that like, oh, I've been looking for an honorable knight and I finally see one. In the books, Stevron means it in that moment, but something happens that is not in the written between then and when he declares for the accusers. I don't know if he goes to them or they stumble upon him and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna fight for the accused. But in the show, it looks like he was already calculating that. But in the
Yeah, I
book,
that's how it looked to
he
me.
meant it in the moment.
I think I agree. It looks that way. I think the way the books wrote it makes the most sense, even in this show, because he does, with conviction, go and find the people. Because he could have said that and then just not done it. So I think the whole switcheroo felt like played up for us on the TV. Because, like, yeah, I felt like he meant it too, and he left, and he was like, the more he walked away, the further he got, the more he started thinking like, what's in this for me? And so, like you said, it could have been a very moving moment. And I think what's really interesting about this whole concept is that the whole idea is everything is fated by the gods. Even if you conspire, even if you trick people, even if you lie, like that's still technically fate. And in a weird way, I agree. Like in a weird way, I agree. Like if you do everything and you still lose, then you're meant to lose.
And he said, Dunk's like, but the Dragon House, they're not going to look too kindly on you fighting against them. And Sephiroth was like, do you see a fucking dragon? I ain't seen a dragon. Where the dragons at?
Which
Like,
is
Dragon's
a
dead.
point, right? Like that's a
Yeah.
good point about the House of Dragon.
He said, us
And mind you,
Fosterways.
the whole
Go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The whole reason why the son, the one who's acts for the fight of the seven, what's his name?
Aerion.
Aerion.
Aerion. The whole reason we're here is because Aerion don't want to accept that the dragons is dead.
Right.
That's kind of how this started. So it's so funny to be like, yeah, duh, all of us are living in reality right now. Like, we don't care about these monuments he wants to erect to the past. Like, he don't know how to ride a dragon. It's just like we don't.
No,
he thinks
is a
he's an
dragon.
actual dragon. Like, he thinks
Mhm.
he'll evolve physically into a dragon. That's where his
Like Liu
mind
Kang.
is.
He thinks he's Liu Kang. And he gonna have it.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, you know, Liu Kang got an animality. He turns into a dragon, bites your head off. Cha! Remember Mortal Kombat 2? He turned into a dragon.
Oh, I don't know that as well.
You don't
Sorry.
know Mortal
Yeah, I was waiting
Kombat?
for you.
I mean, I know it, but I don't know all the
I don't know
characters,
the
and I didn't play
roster.
it that
Well,
much.
see, so I mean,
Yeah,
the
I'm
other
not
thing I
gonna be
forgot to tell
able
you
to-
is Chanel's much younger than us, so she don't remember
No.
the 90s Mortal
I'm not
Kombat.
sure.
She don't remember the 90s Mortal Kombat.
I'm not the same exact age, but I'm not a different generation the way he keeps trying to act like. But the fun thing is that I don't actually want to know how old he is. We don't clarify. We just let the jokes fly because I don't ever want it to actually know.
Brandon's
Oh.
younger than me.
Exactly. And he's slightly older than me, but he's not that much older than me.
Mm.
I'm
So,
old.
but he's somewhere in between. He's somewhere in between, whatever.
I played Mortal Kombat on the PS2, but I don't remember all these years later all of the characters. I remember some of them.
See?
Like I can't
That's
I
before
can't
your
imagine
time,
what
too.
I would have had to have forgotten to be able to tell you the roster of Mortal Kombat. Like I would have not passed Spanish. You know what I'm saying? Like my brain could only do so much, and you want me
Right.
to remember that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And Sephirin said, us Fossilways, dog, we got apple trees, bruh. And you know how long apple trees been around? Since before the fucking dragons. And guess what's going to happen after they gone? We still going to be growing fucking apple trees. All right? So we
Mhm.
good.
Which
And he said-
again, if he meant it, means something, right? Like it would carry so much weight that like the apple is stronger than the dragon, kind of. It would have been so cool.
And I also think, like, in general, it's even though the knights are not like commoners, it's like the non-Targaryens' chance to get their lick back. Like, there's no other opportunity for you to go face to face, like, with a Targaryen. And if you kill them, it's like the purge is like completely forgiven. Like, so I do think there for people who have a gripe against the king and want to get their peace back, it is a great opportunity.
Yeah.
And he said, also, I got some boys that's ready to roll with us, bro. So all I gotta do is say the word and they coming with me. The Lannisters. What did he say? He said Sir Lionel, the Lannister, and he said someone else.
He says the Dondarrion, the Laughing Storm, which is the Baratheon, Lionel Baratheon. He mentions the Humphreys, the two Humphreys.
Well,
There's
the two
guys
Humphreys
named
did come. Humphrey Harding and Humphrey Beesbury.
Yeah, they're brother-in-laws. And Beesbury, just to put it in the world for you guys, Beesbury is the descendant of, you remember in House of the Dragon when Sir Criston Cole like pushes the guy who is protesting against the usurping and his head goes into the that thing?
He dies.
That's his grandsire or great grandsire or something like that. So that's the relation. The whole world is connected.
Yeah, the Beesbury's always getting bitched. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't even know how they live, how they're still alive in this world because they get
and Junk asks, and then Sephirin leaves, and Raymond asks, "You think he can really get them to come fight for us?" And Raymond was like, "I mean, maybe, but maybe you should, run. That might work out for you."
Yeah.
And Dunk was like, "Nah, this is the guys telling me something. Like, I ain't finna run." And then Egg shows up. And says, and he's like, Egg, what are you doing here? He goes, I'm your squire.
Can I insert something real quick?
Yeah.
Sorry, because I don't want it to pass. Raymond in the book says, like, I know that this was a nice thing that my cousin has said, but I think you need to get your own men. Because he knows his cousin. Like, he knows his cousin is shitty. And they have a bad relationship. And so he says to Dunk, like, I think it would make more sense for you to get your own men. And Dunk is like, what can I fucking do? Like, who the fuck am I?
I'm not even from here.
Yeah, basically. And then right then is when Egg walks in. But I wish that was clear in the show because that's an important moment of being like,
Mhm.
this might not work out. But
Mhm.
I do like the
I
insert of not knowing my place. That's a good insert. It just took away from the
I think the
warning he could have
show,
gotten,
I think the show wanted his heel turn to be more of a surprise.
I
Because if they'd have
guess, yeah.
said that, you'd have been like, "Oh shit, it's making me think that he might not be on the up and up." But when he made that forceful
Yeah.
statement, you were thinking, "Oh shit!" Like he
Yeah.
looked like an
Well,
asshole
we
earlier in the
cooking.
season, but he really
Yep.
down for Dunk, and then he
Exactly.
turns on him.
Yeah, I like this show, Charmaine. This is my favorite property of the George R. R. Martin universe
Mhm.
because it's actually a comedy and there's actually some hope and there's actually like a character we can truly root for
It's kinda
who's
lovable,
not
yeah.
like, like obviously Arya Stark didn't do anything to anybody, right? But like in general, it's hard to find people you want to root for fully in the Game of Thrones series.
Mhm.
So this is why I like this in general. And so I think as a watcher with no context and everything is a surprise, I do like that they're making the show these surprises that like somebody who's not reading the subtext. Like when I went back and watched all these things, okay, are so
Yeah.
obvious, but as the first time, it really is actually it's as satisfying as when you probably read the books.
Yeah, I am, and the show too, like, has to mislead you a
Yeah,
little, especially for people who have read it. But what I like about it
right.
is it's kinda like it's the Ragnarok of the Thor series, right? Like, we have all this other more dark and, um, tight previous, but then we get this lighthearted, goofy, even though a lot of bad shit's about to happen.
Hmm.
I really like how they've done it too, that they've made it comical, and you just fall in love with Dunk and Egg, like, you just love the
Hmm.
relationship and
Those are
stuff.
my boys. Yeah.
It's a really sweet series of short stories and stuff like that, so yeah, I know they've done good things for the show. There's just moments I wanna see that
Of course.
sometimes are
Yeah.
getting erased, and it's kinda like, when you wanna see a panel of a comic in a movie, it's one of
Yeah.
those things for
Facts.
me.
Facts.
But,
So now you didn't root for Theon Greyjoy.
See, that's the one who got treated bad.
That's the
yeah,
one who got his dick chopped off.
Was
and then
he? Was he? He was sweet at first. Or was he rude?
He
he
was
was
sweet.
rude at first.
I mean, well, he was sweet at first, at the
No,
very first.
no. He was
What?
shitty to Jon. In the
I mean,
first
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean,
season,
but
he's
everybody was shitty to John. I mean,
not
he,
not
but
Ro
he,
But
he
Rob.
Egg
was
wouldn't
their
have been shitty to
friends,
John.
and then he turned
That's
on
the
him.
point.
He turned on him, and then Ramsey basically made him his what's- I
No,
don't know about.
it was just too dark. Like there was no
I was
rays of
It's
joking.
worse
sunshine
in
in
the
Game of
books.
Thrones. Oh
It's
yeah,
way
like it's
worse in
just
the
that's what I'm
books.
saying. I'm like
You need
everywhere you
therapy
turn,
after reading the book sometimes, like, there's some
yeah.
rough
Like I said,
things.
even Arya, you're like, okay, girl, like it, wear something nice, like just treat yourself for a second, right? Like even Arya's sister Soja, it's like there's no reprieve in the whole show. So I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I like this setting, but with like a little bit lower stakes. This obviously we got very serious and hectic this time, but everything before this just like has been very welcome for me.
Yeah.
So Egg is like, dog, I'm trying to get you strapped up. Like, what you mean? I'm your squire. And then Darren comes in. He's like, I'm here. And Dunk's like, the fuck are you doing here? And he pins him down the table and takes his knife out. He's like, I should kill you. And Egg's like, no, don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. And Darren's like, look, man, like, I fucked up. All right. I fucked up. My daddy was going to whip my ass. I had to tell him something. I don't know what you want me to do.
Yeah,
I had to tell
he
him
had to call
something.
Flea.
And he said, but look, I'm here to tell you, I'm not really trying to fight nobody tomorrow. So when the fights start, I'm gonna go past one time and make myself look noble, and I'm gonna knock somebody up one time, and then just tap me on the head. I'm out. I'm done. I'm gonna take a fall for it.
You think I'm gonna take a knee? Yeah, I think also after he threatens him, everybody's like, "Are you good? Like, is you
That's
cool?"
like the least Dunk moment of all the Dunk
Yeah,
moments, yeah.
yeah, and the best payoff. He's like, "They can't kill me twice." He's like, if I'm gonna take one out, I might as well take them all out. It don't,
It's like the
one
smartest
murder is 10
moment for him.
murders.
With the background for Daemon, he's a dragon dreamer, and all the Targaryens are capable of dragon dreams, which just means like prophetic dreams or
Mhm.
whatever. Everyone has it, but everybody has it in a different way. But with he's the tragic character because his are like super accurate, and it destroys him. So he basically knows almost how everybody in his family dies, except for himself. Like he can't see his own story, but he can see others. And he's torn apart by it. That's why he became an alcoholic, because he's trying to numb it.
Right.
But the alcoholism is actually making it worse, and he doesn't realize that. But he's like in too deep with it. So he's like a super tragic character, and he's just in so much pain all the time, that's why he's kind of useless. And these four brothers are such an interesting, like all four of these brothers are so different from each other. But yeah, that's why he's like that. That's why he's like so fucking worthless, but he's troubled. Like he's super troubled.
It makes sense. And just to tie it to another show we do, it's giving Dick O'Halloran, like, it's giving somebody who has to drink because the shining gets to them. That's what it's giving.
So then,
like, the Shining.
We watched.
I know the Shining, but what's the character?
We watched
Dick Halloran. Did you watch Welcome to Derry? Did you watch the prequel?
Oh no, I didn't watch that one.
I have a list for you whenever you take a break on your turn, because it's randomly very black.
Okay.
Like very black. So like it's a prequel. It's Dick Halloran is in it, and it's a prequel to all the It stuff. It's like in the 1950s.
Okay.
So we got a comment from T Pace. Said House of the Dragon should be much better. The Dance of the Dragons was a great story, in my opinion.
It is. It should be way better. I hope season 3 will kick off some of the really good bits, but they've kind of left out some stuff that would lead to those moments. So I am nervous, but I hope they course correct in season 3.
So then after that, Egg tells him, he's like, that's all you got to tell me, is that you're going to take a fall? He's like, well, the other shit not good, so I wanted to leave with the good shit. My daddy making the Kingsguard fight. And then Darren was like, it's only 3 of them. Don't worry, it's just 3 of them. And so Egg was like, but who you got, though? I know you got some people ready to roll with you. He was like, I got Raymond's cousin.
I like that he didn't even name him. He's just like Ray's cousin.
Little man, he said he gonna come. He called his cousin. I don't know what else. He's like, Boo Man coming through. Little Ray. He's just naming people from the neighborhood.
And Dunker's like, hey, dog, if I get people, I might kill your brother. And Egg was like, let me tell you something about my brother. All right. That man used to come in my bedroom with scissors, talking about he gonna cut my dick off so I can be his sister, so we can get married and keep the blood pure. And Raymond bust out laughing. He started laughing at him. And they look over at Raymond.
He's just like, that's messed up.
And Raymond was like, I told you they were incestuous aliens. I just told you that shit the other day. You ain't believe me. And he said and Egg was like, he also killed my goddamn cat. He says he didn't, but he did that shit. And so then
the cat thing really bothers Dunk. Like they don't say that in the show, but he makes a note of it. Like cat killer.
Yeah, he is. He is Dunk Doolittle. That makes sense. He's like, you don't kill. Like, I love all the animals. Trick Daddy loves the kids, and Dunk loves the animals. He's like, I can't. But I will say, they always make one Targaryen in the brood a psychopath. It's just like, so I don't know. That seems genetic too. Like, there's always one, and he's always the blonde.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's a saying: every time a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a coin: madness or greatness.
Okay, madness is one thing, but like, they make them like terrible. I guess I think of madness could be like so many different things, but the idea that they're always like these, they're just every type of depraved. Like I just think of Joffrey and how like Joffrey was just effed up in every way possible. Like he just wouldn't. There was no light to him. Like there was no balance in his character. But
Joffrey might be a Targaryen because in the books, it's very likely that Cersei and Jaime are the bastard children of Aerys and Joanne, which is supposed to be their mother, the Lannister mother. So it is possible that he's as mad as he is, because it is possible that Jaime and Cersei are the Mad King's children.
So that's why they said that they fucking each other, because they got it in their blood.
Yeah, they're obsessed with it, right? But there's a moment that's not in the show, but it's in the books, where Tywin's sister, so Tyrion and Cersei's aunt and stuff, she says to Tywin, Tyrion's yours, the other 2 aren't. And then he excommunicates her for like a decade because he don't want to hear that shit. And so Tyrion is always reminding him.
The one that's mine is the little person. Oh,
yeah. He's like, don't tell me that little demon comes from me, because these beautiful golden lions are clearly mine. But it's hinted at, it's not explicitly said. But Cersei's madness parallels Aerys' madness. So Joffrey might be crazy because he might be a Targaryen.
See, I made a mistake in comparing them, and I was right ultimately somehow.
That's perfect.
So then Darren was like, let's go outside. Let's talk. We gotta talk. And he says, look, man, I had a dream, right? And in this dream, you was in there. And Doug was like, I remember. I saw your drunk ass at the hotel the other day. I remember at the hotel bar. He's like, no, but I didn't tell you what was in the dream. In the dream, you kill a dragon. A big ass dragon. Dragon's wings as big as the fucking meadows. Oh no, he says, I see you with a dragon in the fire. And then Dunk says, did I kill him? And he was like, I don't know. My dream ain't tell me that. I just know it's a big ass dragon with you in the fire. And he's like, all right, then. He was like, that's cool. He was like, yeah, you think it's cool, but my dreams come to life. So you better take heed to that, because when I say some shit, it's finna happen. And then he said, look, man, if it's my fault that you die, I apologize, dog. Like, I ain't even mean to do that. But just so you know, I'm going to fucking hell anyway. And it's not even going to be no wine there. So we're going to be right in the same place. And he walks off. And then
That's a good line to me
Steely Pete rolls up. And he's like, come on, dog. Tanzel left your shit with me. Come get your shit. And he goes in there, and Dunk asks her, where's she at? And he was like, oh, man, she got on the first thing smoking. She on her way to Dorne. She going to be at the beach chilling. And he takes the shield out, and he made some upgrades to it, gave it a new rim, some reinforced steel. And Dunk looks at the paint, and he's like, it's a falling star. This shit like it set me up to die. And Pete's like, wipe them tears out your eyes.
Yeah, he's like, it's nighttime. Hold up. He's like, the trees is dying. The leaves are turning orange. Like, he's so upset about it. It's like when they do the sidewalk art and then they show it to you and you're like a caricature. That's what he's like, oh, y'all set me up.
Yeah, he said, look, remember the old saying? He said, remember the old saying, rhyme, oak and iron, guard me well, unless I'm dead and doomed to hell, something like that.
Doomed to hell, yeah.
And Dunk says, all right, that's cool. You made me feel a little bit better. How much I owe you for this, dog? Because you know I'm broke. He was like, for you, copper.
I love this. I love this so much because it's like the only hints, one of the few hints in the show that you get about the divide in the Seven Kingdoms over the Targaryens. Because the Blackfires, which are the legitimized bastards, their faction, like a whole bunch of people support them and a whole bunch of people support the Targaryens. And some people are just like, want all those motherfuckers to be gone. And so to be like a capitalist that is going to give away his work for a copper is like, fuck all these motherfuckers. Like, take them all out. Because if you take them all out here, essentially you make it very difficult for them to continue. Because right now there's a ton of Targaryens alive, but these are the important ones.
Right.
Most of them are the important ones.
Yeah,
I really like that.
He's like, Jeb Bush can't do as much damage as GW. So like, you might as well. But also I also took it as just like some pity too. Like, I think he was nervous for my boy. He was like, look, I would never rob a dying man. Like, he's like, go ahead.
That's a good point.
Give me whatever you got on your pocket.
He's like, I'll help you out, bro. I'll just pick it up after you die. And I'll get
exactly. He's like,
I'll get the steel back.
Yeah. Then we get to the battle, and we see Sir Lionel Baratheon with his antlers, and we get Hardy and Beesbury. Beesbury ain't really getting no lines. He was just there to die. And then we got Sir Robin Riesling and his metal eye patch. So they all there.
He's a fun character in the stories, not these stories, but like in the other stories. He's fun.
If you don't remember, he also has a bone to pick because this is the one who Aerion just the other day did like a dirty move and killed his horse. And
no, that was the other one.
Like,
that was
the one
Hardy.
with the eye patch.
The
No.
broken leg guy.
Yeah, that was
was
the
on
hard.
horse
Oh
that
yes,
says,
yes. Okay, hard. Yes,
That's him. Yeah.
Well, so all these people, like in general, people have their grievances, but he specifically could have been on bed rest. Like he could have easily sat this one out, and he was like, "Nah, like I want my lick back." And I think there's also the just in terms of storytelling, it ends up paying off that Dunk has been this nice, approachable guy who's just been like meeting people and being sweet. Because if this had happened earlier on, especially when Dunk couldn't even get a sponsor for the tourney, so to have this happen because he's shown his character, I think it's also just like rewarding. And it really did start to feel terrible because he was already down. He's down like 2 or 3 when he first gets there. And the other thought I had just randomly was they go, it's like 11 p.m. or whatever. He goes into the thing and they're like, we're going to do a trial at 7. And they're like, are we going to do it at 5 a.m.? And I was like, why can't they be well rested?
Because of the like the religious / like spiritual idea of like the
Of the sun.
cleansingness of dawn. So if you do it at dawn, it's really cleansing. What's confusing in the show that I kind of like better than the books is in the books, he doesn't know any of these guys. These guys show up because Egg grabs them. And he hasn't met Lionel or nothing. But in the show, we get that they have this kind of relationship.
Oh, I love
That
that.
made it
That
so
way
much
we can-
better. Him and Lionel.
I think it's so much better too because Lionel Baratheon is like one of the key Baratheons, and he's great. I fucking love him as a character. He's like exactly what the Baratheons are supposed to be like versus like Robert. So I like that they did that. The problem that they did is they kept the lines from when they showed up, and he thanks them for like, you don't even know me, but thank you so much, and I appreciate it. I appreciate that Stevron brought you here, and they're like, Stevron. He says, who the fuck is that? But they were friendly in the earlier episode. So for him to say, like, I don't know this fucking Stevron, it could be that he was just drunk and he was being friendly. That's a
Well, he
possibility.
was drunk the whole time.
He was super drunk. But so they kept the lines, which made the moment a little bit confusing. But Lionel and him in the show already have this rapport. So I feel like that should have been more of like, I didn't even think to ask you, like we were drunk together. I should have asked you.
That
So I
reminds
do
me.
think the show does it better.
Charmaine, was the Alice song in the books? That was the best
Yes.
part of the series.
Yeah, that's in the
Yeah.
book.
We love
That's
the
not
Alice
best
song.
part of the series.
Yeah.
We love the Alice
Egg
song.
being cutesy wootsy is the best part of the series, not whatever this three-finger lady, which mind you is randomly connected to season 2 of Cross, which I know both of you have never watched. But the three-finger salute is Alice of Alice of this universe, Cross season 2, and Dane Cook.
Mm-mm.
Y'all don't know any.
No, Alice.
None
Three
of that
Fingers.
makes sense to me.
I
We
always
too
tell
old
Brandon
for this.
I
These
tell
Gen
jokes
Z
for
references.
2 people in the universe. There's 2 people right now who heard that and are like, yes, this is English.
I know who Dane Cook is. I hate him.
He used
I
to do
don't
that
know
like
what
thing.
Cross
He used to
is.
do this.
Right.
And then Cross is a show right now that's on Prime. It's Aldous Hodge. He's the lead. And then Isaiah Mustafa from the Old Spice ads is his co-detective. He's good in it. And it's like a positive expression of the Black family in DC. Like there's some interesting dynamics. They're very like it's a great there's no like, it's not a Tyler Perry production. So I really like it. And then also I told Brandon he has to watch it because there's this kind of like insane character from season 1 who has one of the funniest sex scenes I've ever seen on TV in my life in season 2. Like I wouldn't even ruin it for you. It was just like either you watch the show and you see why it's so funny or you don't. But anyway, that is why Cross is heavy in my head. The second season just came out, the first 3 episodes, and I went straight through. Anyway, so that's a quick diversion. But if you heard those 3 references and you get that comment, please send us an email. Let us know you're out there. And I would say on the last point, circling back to this, like I do still think it makes some sense to me that Dunk is saying what he's saying, because he's saying like, bro, you could actually die for me tonight. Like we don't know each other that well. Like yeah, we did the 2-step together, but that's not the same thing as you like coming out. So like you said, Sherman, the context of like some people don't really mess with the Targaryens because they're anti-government or they're anti-Targaryen specifically, or they're pro-Dunk. Like all those things kind of had to make sense because they would have had to spend more time just building up the idea of knights being better than they are for us to have believed that they would just show up on the strength.
Yeah. With Lionel, what he says about like a chance to get a crack at the Kingsguard, Lionel
Mhm.
is like, I'm probably already going to be in the history books, but just to make sure I'm in the history books, I need to be a part of this thing too. And I think that like some of them have the fuck Aerion, let me get my lick back, and some of them have like eternal glory. And you're just like, thanks for getting me here, but you're
Mhm. Right.
inconsequential to me.
I mean, it's giving. Are there no true knights among us? And Baratheon is like, I am a true knight. Absolutely.
Yeah. But Lionel Baratheon, I want him to have his own thing because he's awesome.
So
Tell
then
me if you agree or disagree. I called him the Tony Stark of this universe.
So he when he got his direction, the actor, his direction was he's a little bit Captain Jack Sparrow and a little
I
bit
can see that.
Tony Stark, I think was
I
it.
see
Like
that.
he's
I see
supposed to
both of
be, that's
those.
why he's kind of like, this kind
Yeah.
of thing. And I think he
That
nails it
dangly
because
earring.
in the stories, he is about honor, but he's about like he remembers all the bad things. So like the Baratheon house starts from the bastard brother of Aegon Targaryen the First, the Conqueror, and they were buddies, and so they started the house. So he's got Targaryen blood, but he's not like they don't look like Targaryens. The seed is strong. The Baratheons are dark skinned or dark haired, blue eyed,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. And so, but the history bothers him, and he's just like, why am I not of you? Like we used to be kings. I don't understand. And so I
Mhm.
think that's kind of his thing. Why I like him so much is he's like, who are you above me? You know.
that's Chanel's old Twitter handle. We used to be kings. You ain't know that?
Mm-mm.
Now you know. So
I mean, I
then
haven't been on Twitter and
That was not my Twitter
Or-
handle. So just so you know,
okay.
he's just saying shit. It's so annoying.
what? So then Sephirin comes up. He's like, no, they look over there. He's like, hey, dog, Aerion only got 6 people. Don't nobody fuck with him. And he goes to Sir Stefan. He goes, I'm so glad you're here, buddy. Like, thank you. He's like, you know they only got 6 people. Let's roll out. He was like, actually, you down 2 people, dog, because I'm fighting with them.
I hate this dude.
It was so,
And, and Raymond was like, the fuck? What you mean? He was like, hey, dog, they told me they're going to make me a lord. The fuck? You think I'm turning that shit down? I'm taking that shit right now. And he
he
walks over, he
literally
gets on
said,
his fucking horse.
hate the game, not the player.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he rolls to the other side, and Dunk goes up to him. Raymond says, I'll fight for you, just knight me. And he goes over to knight him, and he hesitates. He hesitates because he don't want to perpetrate his lie.
I don't want it to be confirmed because I have my theory. If Brandon has already
listen how
told
ridiculous this is, Charmaine. Listen to this. Listen, I want you to hear her bright theory that she came up with.
Because obviously it's known by other people, it's so silly that I would put 2 and 2 together as I'm watching for the first time, which is I'm like, hey Brandon, I'm not sure he's been knighted. And so it's like, oh, Brandon's like, you think you came up with that? Sorry, I was watching on my own.
No, I told her this.
Around something
No,
finally.
she thinks I read the books. I don't read the books. I told her this in episode 2 when they asked him, when did you get knighted? And he said, who saw me? He said, a tree and fucking bird and a tree and the sun. And I was like, we saw that scene. You ain't get fucking knighted. And then they showed the scene with him riding with the horse. And he asked Sir Arlen, are you going to knight me? And Sir Arlen looked at him and just kept right on trotting. And I was like, they didn't knight his ass. They didn't clearly knight his ass. And then 3 episodes later, Chanel texted me, was like, guess what I figured out? I think Dunk was never a knight.
Just to help a little.
Spoiler alert, everyone. Spoiler alert.
The books don't explicitly say it, but they hint at it so much. But the answer has been answered by George. And I won't say what the answer is, but for your purposes, the books do never explicitly acknowledge. It's just all the hints that you've seen so far are in the books too.
Yeah, I mean it's giving it's giving like his process was rushed. and they just had to churn him out real quick. Like if anything did happen, it was not honorable and nice at all. Like I feel like Arlen would have been drunk a little bit doing it. But
Also, when people lie, they tell too much.
Yeah.
And Dunks is like, he put the sword on the right, he put the sword on the, like he gets
Mhm.
too detailed, and
He
that's
did the Macarena. Yeah, it's like
yeah.
it's too much. But yeah, I think in that moment when he hesitates, that's when I was like, oh guys, it's clear now. But again,
That's
this is
cute.
someone who is like, maybe Egg is sick and that's why he has no hair. I was like, who am I to judge that the boy's bald? And
But
that's all I thought. I didn't give
he
myself any other
hesitates,
reason to
in
think
my
about.
opinion. In my opinion, he hesitates because Sir Lionel says any knight can knight another knight. And he hesitates because I think Dunk's all right with, I think he's made peace with his lie that he's not a knight, but he don't want to perpetrate that on somebody else, right? He don't
Yeah.
want to perpetrate that on to Raymond. So then the horn
That
blows. Oh, good.
that's sort of explicit in his inner monologue a little bit of
Oh,
like he like I said, they don't explicitly say this, but he does say something about he says the line which is in the show, like, I shouldn't. And he grabs the sword and he's like, I shouldn't. And then but it makes it seem to everybody else like he's saying, I shouldn't put you through this,
Mhm.
right now. But in his
Oh.
inner monologue, he says like, like my faults are mine or something like that. I forget exactly. There's a line that kind of indicates something like that. Um, but this scene is one of my favorite TV scenes, I think, of all time. The knighting
It's so
of
good.
Raymond is
Yeah.
so
To
good.
be fair though, like if he had started doing it and he kind of like said the wrong words, or he was like so in the name of Queen Elizabeth, and they'd be like, whoa, hold on. And then they'd be like, we gotta stop this whole, like that would have grinded everything to a halt, because then they're like, wait, we gotta do a G check. So I will say that like that also was a smart thing to like not have any, because it would have answered the question if he had done it exactly.
Yeah.
They would have made it like very clear. So I think even if he is a knight, and I think he's earning it in his own way, I will say another potential sign is the first 10 minutes of the battle, but I won't we'll get into that in a second. But I was like,
To jump off that, what I'll say is when he doesn't, he knows the tenets, but not necessarily the words. And
mhm,
there's a moment in his inner monologue where he says something like, sort of like, for all the world to see, I fought this battle as a knight,
mhm,
we won the battle, da 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 da. Everybody will acknowledge me as a knight. Like he says something that's like, everybody
yeah,
always see me as a knight or something like that. He says something that again isn't, the way he says it isn't explicit, but it
mhm.
indicates like, right now it doesn't matter if I was never knighted because I am a knight now.
Yeah, like yeah, exactly. And also he's like, I'm a knight, but I think what will validate him in a weird way is the more he sees that the knights are knights in name only in a lot of ways and not in character only. So
Yeah.
it's like he's like, I could be a renegade if I want to. Before we move on, shout out to the chat. Welcome, Human Help. Thanks for joining us twice this week. Human Help says, love this stream. Raymond also seems so earnest and naive, pure of heart, like Duncan. Like he gives the name of the squire that was Podmore,
Podrick
Podrick.
Payne,
the fine ass one who like apparently was
the
hung. I
well
just remember
endowed.
that. Yes, thank you. That's all I remember.
But
And then
does he got Sir Arlen beat? That's the question, Charmaine.
I think that was an exaggeration.
Bro, that was like Game
Brandon's
of Thrones
favorite
show
part.
stuff, but that one was
Yeah.
surprise. I was like,
Brandon
did they
enjoyed it.
explicitly
No, see, Charmaine,
cast
Chanel
or
was
Brandon
hating
likes
on Sir
prosthetics.
Arlen. Charmaine, Chanel was hating on Sir Arlen. She called it a prosthetic. She didn't want to give the actor credit.
I don't know. They might have casted.
That's right. That's what I'm
They
saying.
might have casted
what the
for
casting
a
call
big
said?
dick white dude, like old white dude. And some of them are out there. We've seen porn.
Please stop.
Some of them are out
I
there.
pray that's not what the casting
They could have
call
got
said.
Ron
And then-
Jeremy. They said we need somebody who
think
look like
about how
Ron
many-
Jeremy.
that would have screwed me up if Ron Jeremy had popped up on the screen. But think about how many scams on Craigslist say, "This is for HBO, we promise. We just need you to show up looking like this with this. We don't care about your height. We care about that height." But okay, Human Help has a good question for you, Charmaine. How do we think it could be found out the truth of him being a knight if it's not honorable? Like, what would happen to him?
So I think because of Dunk's honor, which as the stories develop in the other two short stories, he's essentially Ned Stark in terms of like I'm honorable to a fault, but this one lie I told. Well, it's slightly different. Ned Stark's lie he told to protect his nephew, right? In Dunk's case, it is about survival, which he is from Flea Bottom. And like you could take the hood out the boy, or you can take the boy out the hood. You can't take the hood out the boy, right? I think I think it doesn't matter if anybody, because there's really no proof. Even if someone says, "I assume that you were never knighted,"
Right.
there's no way to prove it. Besides, like he just wasn't knighted by a good knight, like
Right.
that. There's really no way. So I
That's
kind of
true.
don't think it would matter even if someone called him out on it. Unless he was drunk one day and he was like, "I was never knighted." And if it's someone to like, if he says it to like Lionel would be like, "But you just fought that battle for all the world to see.
What if he told
You're a
Egg,
knight."
and he's like, "Yo, can you knight me secretly? Like, can you just do this real
Well,
quick?"
Egg can't knight him.
Whatever. Yeah.
Oh, Egg can't
Egg's
knight
not a
him.
knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna die with the secret, and that's okay.
Yeah. The
Human
king
Help
can
also-
knight him, and the
Yes.
knights can knight him. But Egg is a prince. He needs to be knighted before he can knight somebody.
Thank you for that. Okay, well that makes sense. I hope he doesn't get found out. Sir Arlen, the tripod is one way he could be remembered. This is true.
I like that. The tripod. I like
The
that.
tripod. Yeah, I dig it.
So then Dunk goes to the horn rings. He goes over there and Sir Lionel knights Raymond while he's walking over there. And Dunk says, "Look, dog, we got 6. I'm cool with 6 versus 7. I like our chances. We
Let's
good."
just run sixes. It's cool.
And Aerion said, "That's not permitted." And Lord Ashford was like, "Yeah, you gotta find the 7th dog. Like, we can't do this. Like 7 on
And
6."
going back to the rules,
gods
it's
say,
like if you can't find a 7th, it wasn't meant for you to win. I don't know if I mean, and it's not true, but it is interesting to thought like if you can't find 6 other people that would take up your cause, then your cause is not worthy. And I do think there's something like inherently, it's like how the code of how like our law goes back to like Hammurabi's code. Like there's something in it that feels right to me, but the way this is all happening is so wrong.
Well, and really it is arbitrary because the Targaryens don't believe in the 7.
Yeah, they don't believe in the 7.
But to rule the Westerlands, they need, or the Westeros, they need to represent the way the people are. So with the exception of the whole, we got to pass on incest. They try to outwardly pretend that they are devoted to the 7.
The church gave them a pass on the incest though, right? They said, didn't they change the laws or something like that? Yeah.
They did because of the Targaryen dragon blood or something like that. But it was really just a paid off maester that did it. Which is in the Fire and Blood books.
So then Dunk was like, "Look, man, there's this show that they got back in King's Landing that they performed down in Flea Bottom. It's called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And when you get tight, they had this thing where you can call a friend. So can you let me go holler at somebody so I can try to find the 7th person?" And Lord Ashford was like, "Go ahead, like take your time." So he goes over to the stands and he gives this big rousing speech about nobility.
It's a really
and
good.
honor.
This is our Nino Brown for sure. We have superlatives we do at the end of the season where we just this is the best speech of the whole season. I would say I don't even have to see the rest of the episodes.
And it's about nobility and honor, setting an example for your sons to live up to, and how you're all knights and you're supposed to do the right thing. Now, who's going to ride with me? And then this big dude stands up and they start playing this music that makes you think he's about to do the noble thing. And then he just rips a fart and everybody starts laughing.
And that's not in the book.
That was great.
I mean,
what's in the book is really good though, because what he does, and this is one of those moments where the break between Sir Duncan the Tall and Dunk from Flea Bottom like rises up, he calls out individually 3 of the knights that he tried to petition to back him, and he's like, he took a wound for you, and we did this, he saved you, and he calls all these people out, and 2 of them look away in shame and like trying not to be addressed, but one of them, and I forget the names of those lords, but one of them says basically like, I don't disagree with you, but I'm not trying to fight the blood of the dragon. It was like, that's your story, that
Yeah.
ain't my story. And
Mhm.
and that's when he realizes like honor amongst knights. He's so dumb and lovable that even with Sir Arlen, who was a drunk and whored
Mhm.
around and all that kind of stuff, he still thought Arlen was like the most honorable. And he
Mhm.
believed everything Arlen told him about knights' honor. So when he's meeting all these knights that aren't honorable, he is so confused.
Confused, yeah.
Yeah, he's so confused. But I love that speech. The speech is very similar to the books, with the exception of calling out the 3 lords. And this is when I feel like this is Dunk from Flea Bottom.
And then
popping up.
after he does that, Dunk is pissed off. He says, "Y'all some suckers. There ain't no true
Mhm.
knights among
Bitch
you.
made.
That's
Who
such a good
raised y'all?
line.
Who raised y'all?"
Mhm.
And then the doors open, and then this happens, Chanel. Stone Cold's
That's a
here,
good clip.
and Baelor
That's a great
Targaryen
clip.
busts in, and he busts in the door, and everybody stands up in the crowd, and they're like, and Baelor walks up, and he goes, "I'll fight for Sir Duncan," and everyone starts cheering, like they was
And he's
just
like,
doing
fuck it.
when Stone Cold came in. He had the biggest pop of the night, and they finally played the Game of Thrones music, which I've been waiting for this whole season.
Mhm.
When
Yeah.
he came in,
They're
and
like, here I go. You want that
European,
feeling,
yeah.
don't you? When everything conspires and it's all good.
Makor runs up on him, was like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" And he's like, I'm fighting with him, dog. Like he doing the right thing. What you mean? What's wrong with me? He's protecting the innocent, as all good knights should." And then Makor runs back off, and then we go off, and we are ready for the big fight. And so
I have one quick point of order.
Yeah.
Baelor reminds me more of Shawn Michaels than Stone Cold. He just looks more like this wrestler.
He's
Shawn
Stone
Michaels.
Cold. He came in right when
That
you
was a
needed
great
him.
pop, though. No, you're right. Stone Cold would come in and handle things. I was just saying, like, you
Glass
could have
broke.
matched it to the wrestler he looks like.
In the books, he's wearing he says like, "I'm sorry I'm late, but I didn't come to the tourney thinking I was gonna compete, so my son was
Right.
good enough to let me borrow his armor." So that's why, like, that's like when he comes in, it is still very heroic or anything like that, but he's like,
Mhm.
"I'm so sorry I'm late, but I take Dunk's part. I had to wear my son's armor."
Yeah, he's like, I did not know where my girdle was. He's like, I
Yeah,
had
like,
to
and it doesn't
move
quite
back
fit
and forth.
him exactly
Yeah.
right, they're not the same person and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but, yeah, I love Baelor. Baelor is one of the best Targaryens out there, but I think it's a really good moment to see, like, the shame that his showing up puts on the rest of his family is just like, because at
Mhm.
that point, even if Dunk loses, you gonna tell me Balon or Baelor was wrong? That's how that feels to me.
Yeah. And also, before we read the comment, also, like, I think this is why it's great they didn't bring his son into it and all the other stuff, because that just would have made it way more complicated. So the fact that he's the only one of his bloodline that's in the fight makes sense. T-Pace Koi says, I think they were wrong about the Andals creating this type of 7 battle. They mentioned it in Fire and Blood. One of the Targaryen kings did it first, I thought.
So it is mentioned, but this goes back to the thing of the Targaryens adopting, the cause of the religion of the locals. And
Mhm.
the problem with a lot of the histories, which is one of the things I do love about how Game of Thrones stuff is written, it's written like Fire and Blood is a history written by the Maester. So
Yeah.
what we're reading in the book is as if that's a Maester's written book. And so
Mhm.
when he doesn't know everything, he'll say something like, well, if you're to believe Mushroom the
Mhm.
Fool, Mushroom the Fool says this. And if you're to believe Maester so and so, Maester Beesbury or something
Mhm.
like that. This is what's going to happen. And so it's mentioned, but I think it's one of those same moments where it's like, I'm not exactly sure how this happened, but I'm writing this out this way. But the Andals were there 6,000 years ago. Or yeah, so first it was the first men was 8,000 years ago. The Andals came over 6,000 years ago. So it could be the Andals did
Mhm.
bring the seven over, but it could be some shit that they just created and nobody's alive anymore. So who knows if the Targaryens started it? It could be like that. Like that's how Fire and Blood is written. Like
Mhm.
I think it's this, you know.
Yeah, good to remember this is all written by the grapevine. Like we just, you got to take our best
Yeah, it's the
approximation.
Bible, you know. It's like 1,000 years ago someone said this and then we killed them. That's all it is.
Then we get to episode 5 in the name of the mother. But Charmaine, I forgot to tell you. We'll talk about this later. But I didn't tell you that I released a rap song. Did I tell you that?
No, but I feel like I'm about to be punked.
He released a rap song. It doesn't match this show, but we're happy
I'll send it to you later.
talk about
I forgot to
Mhm.
delete it off of my OBS.
Mhm.
And so I just saw it when I was scrolling for my clips. And so it reminded me, I didn't tell you that I made a rap song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got to make a lyric video to it. That's what we're waiting to do.
Mm.
So then episode 5, Baelor he's coaching them up, man. He's, listen. When he lines up outside the numbers, right? You want to run 40 yards, deep, right? Because he's sitting on that slant route. So we want to go deep. We're gonna throw it right over his head. We're gonna score a touchdown every single time. Like that's all you got to do, and we good. And Raymond and Dunk both vomit, and
Yeah.
so Harding was like, "Oh, look at these green motherfuckers!"
boys.
Laughs at him, green boys. And Breezeberry asks, "What of the Kingsguard?" And Baelor was like, "Dog, they can't hit me. I'll take the Kingsguard. They can just run around and look at me. They can't actually hit me. That's three down. They can't even do nothing to y'all." And Sir Robin of Reason was like, "Is that the honorable thing to do?" And Baylor's like, "Well, yeah, only God can judge me, dog. So we'll find out."
And he's like, and mind you, there's nothing honorable about anybody on the other side. Like they're all playing dirty. I'm trying to let y'all know, like, let you in a little bit on a secret. We don't follow any rules.
Yeah.
And then Sir
And I
Lionel.
think
Go ahead.
I just think it's also great to think that Baylor thought all three of them would be in close quarters, that he could have gotten all three of them in one go. He did say, protect me for as long as you can, but this is a fucking mess. They took the lines away. That is an open field and they are charging directly at each other. So the fact that he was
Mhm.
like, I got 3 of 7. Y'all handle everybody else because I can't kill my family.
Yeah.
Like that's wild.
He's like, but I can kill the people who work for us. Like they're already think about them as gone.
Protect me so that I can kill them. That's
and
wild.
If anyone's watching or in the chat and has not watched the next episode, like please do not listen in because major spoilers are ahead.
It says 4 and 5 in the title on YouTube.
I know, but Human Help just said Prince Baelor is a true hero. I really look forward to him in many seasons of the show. And so I'm like, yeah, we do too. And so we just want you to come back after you finish this episode.
So then Raymond, so then Baylor's like, they can't hurt anybody from the crown. And Lionel was like, "Oh, I know you, dog. Your mama ain't love you, did she? She ain't love you. Because no man fights as fierce as someone neglected by their mama." And Baelor looks at him like, "How you know me? How you know my story? Who told you?"
Like, you smell like your mama loved you. That's what it's like. That's not in the book, but I fucking love that line.
So then Egg goes up to Dunk and he goes, "My lance." And Egg hands him his lance and he's trying to act like he's still mad at Egg. Then he pulls off and he goes, "When I get back, you better be here. You better not rob me or else I'll hunt you down with dogs." And it reminded him of the joke that they had earlier. And that was so
and Egg
cute.
goes bark. We have our great moment, but like that came from buddy days back in 2 episodes ago. But also it's giving the whole like no such thing as goodbye, I'll see you later. Like he's just saying that to be like, look, don't. I think at this point he's letting go of all the things that got him here, and he's just like, I just want to go into this fight and come back later on the other side.
So then Dunk looks so nervous, and the games start, and he don't even move. He just standing there. They show Aerion, and Aerion looked like a real villain. Like his armor looks so cool. He looked like a super villain. And
yeah, I mean, he has that black dragon mask. Like Matt, for me, this is the most random thing, but what really will scare me is a mask. A good mask will fuck me up. Like I don't get scared about you being big and scary or whatever, but like if you have a good disguise and you're coming at me, I think I would lose it because that just feels too much like fantasy villain coming after me. So that like this helmet he has on like actually makes him so scary to me, like genuinely.
That's the samurai thing. They used to wear the masks to scare their opponents.
There's a season of oh my god, it's either Luther or it was this show called Berlin Station. Did either of one of y'all watch Berlin Station with Richard Armitage? Okay, there's a season where the villains wear masks and they do crazy stuff, and it's like they terrorize people, and I'm like, and it's not like a Anyway, if it's just a really good quality mask, it actually will fuck my dreams up. I do not like it. So I was like, okay,
he's also called the Bright Flame, which I don't understand. It makes sense later, but in the beginning, it doesn't make sense to me why he's called that. But I think it's mirrored in his mask, right? Like it goes from black.
Oh, I heard somebody spoiled. Well, not spoiled, but they told me what happens with him later on.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of alluded to it earlier, but like that's why his name makes sense in hindsight. It doesn't make sense up front.
So then they all start, and Dunk is still there. You hear Egg in the crowd telling him, get up and go, get up and go. He's like yelling to the horse, and the horse starts to move, and then Dunk kicks him, and he takes off, and Dunk's so nervous. And he's holding the lance like not like he should be holding it, and he runs by, and the first run, he gets stabbed right in the fucking chest. I mean, right in the stomach.
Yeah. First of all, no way you did all this. You did no, yes, but I mean, even going back, first of all, this whole premise is you're big, you're the biggest guy in the town, you've been here, you've been working for this day, you're ready for your shot, and you get worked over immediately. Like I was so mad. I was watching this in public, and I was just like, get up and get a fight. Like it felt like the end of Friday. Like I was just upset that he was getting worked over that easily. And I know, like, obviously once you get knocked down, it's hard to get back up, and it built up the tension of the scene. But I was like, I actually expect him to have hands, and he immediately starts getting
does. This fight, even though this is one of the most book accurate like battle scenes of all the Game of Thrones things so far, he's more equal to Aerion.
Well, when they were fighting one-on-one, he could whip his ass, but he was already fucked up by the time they started fighting one-on-one.
True.
Yeah, so I think part of it is he's so dumb and he's scared that his brain, he says it in his inner monologue. He says, I've forgotten myself. I know nothing I know, like kind of a thing. And so when Thunder takes off, he says like, oh, I'm so glad Thunder knows what to do. And then, by the time he figures out what he's supposed to do, he's trying to lift his lance, to get his head. But he keeps looking at his dragon that's on his chest. And so he starts to tilt it down. And he goes, oh, no, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to do his head. And then boom. So he's like distracted in his inner monologue in the book, which is why he gets knocked out. But that's book accurate. Like he gets pierced under his rib, and it's like 3 feet of the fucking pole is in there. Also, another dishonorable thing is the accusing side are using 8-foot some kind of hardened ash lances, so they're not going to break. They're designed to not break. They're like mixed with iron and stuff like that. But the accused side are using tourney lances, which are 12 feet long and designed to break. And
Mhm.
Baelor's idea about this was, I know that they're using these ones, but ours are longer. So if we can get them before they get us, we'll never get hit with them. But you
Mhm.
like make sure you aim for their head or their upper chest, because this is not a tourney. We can kill them.
Yeah.
So do that. But it just doesn't go well for Dunk
Yeah,
because
because
he's so distracted.
Sir Arlen said he was thick as a castle wall.
He
And
is.
I said that's a great line to holler at an Instagram baddie. Just put that in their DM, and
Well,
you'll
like
be
in the
right there.
past, we used to say, "Oh, you sweet summer child," to indicate that someone was dumb, which was also from Song of Ice and Fire stuff. But now we can
Mm.
say, "You're thick as a castle
Yeah,
wall."
thick as a castle wall. And so then he runs back, and Aerion grabs his mace, and he comes flying in like Hawk Girl and knocks his ass off the horse, and we fade to black,
Mhm.
and we get a flashback. And so we go back to when Dunk was a little like a young kid, and this actor they cast looked like a young Dunk to me.
He did. They cast
Yes,
really
he
well,
did
yeah.
good.
And actually, he looked dumb too.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, the way
That's the
like
casting
he
call,
looked
yep.
like a dumb, like he looked like he
She
was
was
dumb.
confused. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
confused.
So yeah.
And they had
No
him.
shade to the dude.
They had him stealing shit from the horseshoe from a shoe off the battle. That was from the Blackfire Rebellion battle, right, Charmaine?
That's from the second Blackfire
The
Rebellion.
second Blackfire Rebellion. And one horse is laying on this dude, and he think we could take the shit off. Then he find out the dude's still alive, and then Dunk is like, I'm gonna put him out of his misery, and he starts suffocating him. And then Rafe shows up. He's like, "What are you doing? If we get this horse off him, we can sell him for ransom." And they try to move the horse, but these little ass kids not moving no fucking horse. And then they try to pull the body off from under the horse, and he just dies, like in the middle of it. He just gone. And then
Kids did their best.
she asked Dunk, "Do you know any words?" And he's like, "What you mean? I don't know words. The fuck you mean words?" He's like, "When these noble rich assholes die, we supposed to say words so they go to heaven." And Dunk was like, "I don't know what you want me to say, dog." And she was like, "Fuck it, open his mouth. Let's get his teeth. We can get some copper for them teeth."
Practical.
Dunk basically says, "God is good, God is great. Thank you for what's on this plate, and let's go. Let's eat."
And it mirrors that first scene too with him and Sir Arlen, where he's like, "Man, I don't know the words, but I'm sorry you're dead." This is not in the books.
True.
This whole flashback is entirely the show.
And then they then go then we get back to them walking on the King's Road, which we haven't seen since Game of Thrones, right, Charmaine? I don't think that was in House of the Dragon.
No, we don't see it in House of Dragon.
And so they're walking down the King's Road, and then they see a horse coming up, and they go and hide behind the tree. What house was that? I don't know what house that was.
That house was, I think, I actually wrote a note about it. So their sigil is a lamb in a golden chalice, and the chalice was meant to sort of represent the opposite side of Sir Arlen. I made sure that I wrote this fucking thing down too. I forget where I put it.
All right, it's all
I'm
right.
sorry. I
So
forgot. I wrote it down, but now I can't find it. I'll
they,
show you my notes. They're like hella long.
Dunk, she's like, "All right, let's get out of here. Let's keep going." And so they get back, and Dunk says, "The war is over." When they're walking back, he's like, "The war over. It's good now. We about to get universal basic income. We got to get free healthcare, public grocery stores. Like, it's all about to be good." And she's like, "Are you stupid? Like, what are you talking about? Who told you that? Who told you that lie?" She's like, "That shit is terrible. We gotta get the fuck out of here. All right, that's why we did this shit, so we can leave. You can stay in Flea Bottom if you want to, but I'm getting the fuck up out of here." So then we get to Flea Bottom, and I said, "This shit looks way more destitute than when Daemon and Rhaenyra went there in House of the Dragon on that one when they snuck out the house to go hang out in Flea Bottom." And we see a Night's Watch dude come up and ask what they got. And Dunk was like, "We got some rats." He's like, "It don't sound like you got fucking rats." And somebody comes in and distracts him. And Rafe takes his beer flask off his wrist, off his, what do they call it? Ale leather? Or, what's they call it? Ale leather? Called it ale something.
I think he did say leather. I couldn't remember the first word, but
Then they take their findings to the pawn shop in Flea Bottom, and the pawn shop owner was like, all right, I'll give you a couple silvers, but that Blackfire leather, we don't take that here. You can take that shit with you, dog. And I was like, oh, you can carve that shit off of there. You can reuse that leather. That's some good leather right there.
Yeah, he's overreacting.
And so they go to their hiding spot under the building, and Rafe's like, look, man, you sound like you're losing your nerve. We supposed to be getting the Essos. Like, what are you talking about? And Dunk's like, what if the free cities is no better than it is here?
it's like the smartest thing he said.
Yeah, that's a good question.
And Rafe was like, did we go somewhere else? And Dunk was like, what if that's shit too? And then she says, well, that'd be pretty terrible if Flea Bottom's the best out there. And he said, also, my mama might come get me. And she was like,
Kawaiso.
not this shit with your mama again, man. We done talked about this. Your mama is either dead or she don't want you. All right? We talked about this for years. Why are you still waiting for her? She gone. And he said, I just want a family. I just want to be with you. And she said, why? Because you love me? He was like, yup. And she said, I love you too. And I'm taking my ass to Essos. So if you love me, you can either come with me or you can stay your ass here.
By the way, he does have a type.
He does. He does have a type.
Well,
so far he has a type.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Easter egg that I could tell you probably offline if you want.
I know what it is. It's that redhead.
No, well, yeah, I mean, there is a redhead coming up, but not in the show, but in the next story. But a character who is a descendant of his in the Song of Ice and Fire.
So, well, I thought that wasn't confirmed.
It's somewhat confirmed because George said, you've already met this character and they have his shield. And the person who has his shield is a character that we met in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, we know that.
Okay. Yeah, don't tell me. Also, T-Pace, you're right. This is the actress from the Dune Prophecy show, the one who had the died and came back, or no, whatever. She was involved in that whole part. That is why she's familiar.
So then the next day they go to the travel agent. And they're like, yo, can we get 2 tickets to the free cities? And he says, I hate to tell you, dog, the price of the brick went up. I'm sorry. It's double. And she storms out and she goes, Dunk, I bet your bitch ass is happy right now. You still think your mama coming, huh? And he's like, why would you say something so mean? But no, he don't say that. He knows that she's upset. And she goes, look, man, we'll figure this shit out. She goes, my bad. I was upset. I ain't mean that shit. And so then the Night's Watch assholes show up, and they kind of they want his he called it ale skin. That's what he called it. So I want my ale skin back. And then they corner her, and they take her coin purse, and they dump that shit out. And Dunk's like, we earned that shit. And he said, well, how you earn that shit? You steal it from some dead people? That's still stealing. And Dunk said,
to be fair,
what you doing then? And he said, oh, what I'm doing? That's called life. That's life, dog.
So fucked up.
And then Rafe pushes him. He said, let's get out of here. Rafe pushes him away, but when he does, he takes his knife. And so he realizes it shortly that she took his knife, and he runs up on her, grabs the knife, and slits her throat, I should say.
Just a complete overreaction.
Right.
And then Dunk jumps on his back and starts biting his head because Dunk at this point just loses it. And then the other Night's Watch dude comes in and stabs him in the leg.
Gold cloak.
Was it the gold cloak?
Yeah, Night's Watch is north.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
Sir
I mean, not the Night's Watch, the City Watch. The people that Damon was in from House of the Dragon, right? The people that he owned. Wasn't that what they are? Yeah, City Watch.
City Watch is the gold cloaks.
Gold cloaks. Yeah, I meant City Watch, not Night's Watch. Yeah.
So that wasn't Sir Arlen that saved him?
No, it is. But the
Arlen,
guys, the
stabbed him.
cops. The cops.
Oh,
those
yes. Yeah, okay.
And then Sir Arlen busts out of nowhere, drunk as fuck, saying, in the name of the mother, leave that boy be. And he proceeds to whip their ass. He slices one of their heads clean off. And the pig even starts to eat the severed head. And then he was about to lose to the other one, but he hits him when he was bent over, and then he takes his little dagger out and stabs it right through his throat, and he's dead. And then he's just like, "Hey, y'all saved my seat at the bar, right? I'm on my way back." And he leaves.
He's like the
Literally.
drunken master, right? Like he managed to
Literally.
kill those two. I mean, to be fair, one of the dudes did only have one hand, but he managed to kill them completely drunk and probably barely remembers that he did it.
Yeah, like it's funny because I like to think that some of what Dunk thinks is like a little bit like, exaggeration, but I also think he had to be somewhat of a bad motherfucker to be, to be someone who can be, dead and gone, and he's still like calling his memory in certain ways.
Yeah.
So I think there's something.
Plus, he's a
I like the idea of the
60-year-old
legend of
knight.
him.
Like knights
Yeah.
don't have a long lifespan.
Mm,
So it means something about him.
good point.
But also this was a moment of the code, right? The mother asks you to protect the innocent, and so he saw this innocent boy and he protected him. And I think that's what ingrains in Dunk's head. I
Right.
mean, it's not how it happens in the book, but like that's a physical moment that would ingrain that thought, I think, for him. And make
He's
it
literally like an orphan in Flea Bottom, essentially. Gets saved by this person. So he's going to find a lot of grace to excuse Sir Arlen's bad traits, because at the end of the day, his actions matter more.
Yeah.
And then Dunk is torn up by this, man. He's
right.
Yeah,
I mean, that's his the only family he has. It's gone.
And she just brutally gets murdered in front of him for over like a couple coins.
Yeah.
In this show,
Stokeworth. Sorry. The sigil, the Stokeworth. I just found my note.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, no, but in the show, is there any explanation why Arlen the tripod did that? Why did he come to the rescue of Duncan? The question is, I guess, in the book and in the show.
Sure.
In the show, it's him like just hearing it and realizing something's going wrong with some kids.
Well, no,
Yeah,
he's
so
a knight, right? It's to protect
he's
the
a
innocent.
knight. And when you're getting knighted, which they do in the previous episode when he's knighting Raymond, right? The first thing is like, in the name of the warrior, I want you to be brave. In the name of the father, I want you to be just. In the name of the mother, I want you to protect the innocent. And so that's the code. You're bound to that, which is why when Dunk sees such dishonorable knights, he's confused. So Sir Arlen, drunk as he is, he sees innocents being attacked, and he's going to because as Dunk says, he's a true knight. Like, he's not a great knight, but he's a true knight. And so he rolls up to protect the innocent. That was his oath.
So he basically then Dunk wakes up the next morning and he sees Sir Arlen still drunk as fuck outside fucking with some people selling fruit. He's like, I'm gonna go follow this dude. And he starts following him everywhere he goes.
Literally ain't got nothing else to do. It made sense.
For real. Like, what are you gonna do? And he's got a big gash in his leg.
Sir Arlen just having the time of his life, singing Dothraki songs, having a great fucking time. And
okay, so this is why I wanted the clip. So I asked Brandon to pull up an old reel that I did, and it's probably not going to sound terrible, like over the audio, but it's one of the favorite things I've ever made. It's so stupid, but what's happening is like they're playing this montage now of Sir Arlen like kind of raising him. We already know he used to hit him or whatever, but we just see these kind of moments interspersed, and we can go back through the moments. But there's this through line of him just being drunk out in the wilderness singing, and like when I'm listening to it, I literally had to pause because I was like, am I hearing background chatter? Like, what's happening? But they just have him like babbling throughout, like he's like not making a lot of sense. He's so drunk, and I was like, he's giving Gollum. Like, he's giving like this little guy in the middle of the night, like whispering. And that's what made me think of this reel. Are you able to play it?
Precious. They stole it from us. Sneaky little hobbits. Wicked, twitzy, first. No. Us.
Frodo. Sam. Wake your ass up, Frodo. Hey, Frodo, for real? You're tripping again. This nigga talking to Frodo, wake the fuck up. God, please.
Why is this so long? Why is it so long? I thought it was 10 seconds.
Cinema.
Cinema's
I'm
the
just
answer.
so proud of that. I'm so proud of that. But yeah, so I just thought that was so ridiculous. Like he's just going, like he's clearly something's wrong with him, but something's right with him too. And so that it just made me think of that reel. And thank you, Brandon, for I don't know why you are mad that it was so long and so good, but it is. I thought of that, and I just think it's so funny that like somebody else is there while Gollum is freaking out, and they're just trying to mark. And you like it, Brandon?
He's so
Okay, well,
mad.
Charmaine enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
So he is singing a
it.
Dothraki song, and
I
it's
liked it.
about enduring hardship and persevering. So that it's like, even though none of us know what is being said, I actually Googled it just to see what the lyrics were. And it's about like basically at the time that all is lost, a person is still persevering. So the fact that it is happening in his flashback during the battle, it's part of Arlen teaching him, I guess, kind of in flashback mode.
Yeah, it's also like it gives more to the renegade ethos that Dunk has. Like this guy nothing seems to be right on paper. Like, he's not affiliated with no house. He's like a mercenary in a way. He's a whore, like we said. But then there's this like underground, like you said, not a good knight, but a true knight. So even the fact that I'm assuming he's ranting and raving because I don't have like the context, but the writers are intentional and thoughtful enough to add in that like even his ranting and ravings are like a warrior song. I think is amazing.
It's also strange that he speaks Dothraki, or that he memorized the Dothraki song, because it's not like a tongue that's easy for Westeros.
That's what I'm saying.
To learn. But that also paints a picture about him too. Like he must have did some rogue shit at some point and went to Essos and hung out with the Dothraki, which could be why he fights wild, but also he's drunk. So I don't know. That's not explicit in the book, so I don't really know. But I liked it. I thought it was one of those things like you have to be a hard nerd to be like, you know what? I need to go figure out what this song is.
Yeah, no, thank you for doing that. That's a great service. And you have to, like, all the actors are good, but the man playing Arlen Pennytree is killing it because he has these random moments that are so impactful.
And it can't be easy to play drunk, right? Like without feeling ridiculous and looking ridiculous. And I think he's doing a good job.
So Dunk is hanging back there, but I think Sir Arlen knew he was back there the whole fucking time. He's just letting them keep walking. And Drunk is so fucking thirsty, start drinking mud water, and then he throws it up because it's mud water. And then Sir Arlen, drunk ass, stabbed himself while he was sleeping. And he's like, oh.
Like so drunk.
He also looked like it was a moment where he's like, I'm thick as a castle wall. Like get it. He's like, get it together, bro. He's talking to himself.
He's like, do I have a problem?
Maybe I shouldn't drink so much.
And he looks off in the distance and he sees Humpty Dumpty walking down the hill, and then he just falls on his face. And he walks up to Dunk and he hands him some water and he says, get up. And it cuts back to the trial. And we see Dunk. That must have been what Dunk was thinking. He got his ass up. But as soon as he got up, Aerion came rolling right back and smacked him in the face with his fucking mace.
Yeah.
I was like, bruh, stand, fight
5
back.
seconds.
And then he got knocked over by his brother, by Aerion's brother. But then I think he ain't do nothing else after that. And then Dunk catches Aerion and Rising. Yeah. So Rising and Aerion, they don't want, like, they're not over there trying to fight. And so the Aerion takes his knife out and they're starting to like get real close combat. And Aerion takes his knife out, starts stabbing the fuck out of Dunk. And then he tries to go for the kill, but Dunk blocks it with his fucking hand. And that looked real brutal, blocking with his hand. He pulls it out of his hand.
Yeah, because he like popped him almost flat-handed, but he's so strong. It out of his hand,
and Aerion was about to go for it, but then Raymond came out of nowhere and knocked down Aerion and gave him a chance.
I like Raymond. He's a bottom bitch, that one.
And so then Dunk knocks the shit out of him and gets up, and people start, and then redhead, the sex worker, gets up and starts cheering. Yeah, for Dunk, and everybody looks at her like, what you cheering for him for? And then I was like, Dunk got to
She's like,
holler
y'all
at
gonna
her.
act like this is not a good game. Like this is such a good game. Are you
Right.
joking?
Dunk got
But
to go
that's
holler at
also
her.
a show thing too, because when Dunk first rolls up on sees the crowd, he's like, "Oh, all these people are here to see me die." And then one guy
Mhm.
goes, 7 blessings to you. And then one person says, let me bless your sword. And so they bless his sword. And these all small folk. And another one is
Mhm.
just like, do the best you can, gambata ne. Like he's trying to make sure that they know he knows they have his support. And so he's like, wait, people believe me? Like he was surprised that the small folk were more honorable than the elite because he's dumb. So when
Yeah.
so in the show, when she cheers and people look at her weird, I was like, but y'all are on his side. In my head that bothered me, but that's because the books.
Well, but no, where she it looked like she was sitting with the nobles, because she was sitting
She
there
is, because
with
she's a
Egg.
whore or a mistress to the oh gosh, why can't I remember this lord's name? The first Darian. No,
The redhead one.
Darian.
No?
Yeah. He's the one that Sir Arlen took a wound for. She's one of his travel whores. So that's why she's sitting with the nobles.
The son or the father?
She's the son of the man that
Right, yeah.
Sir Arlen
That
took
he
the
took
wound
them,
for.
right?
Yeah,
Because he was the one that he petitioned first to get into the tourney, so I remember him.
Yeah.
I will
he's like,
say
"Nah."
too, though, that like it makes sense that the people up in like the sky seats aren't cheering for him, but this is another again payoff of Dunk being a noble character all throughout, because those the sex workers in the redheaded wigs remembered him, and of course they'd be cheering for him over like your sugar daddy's
Right.
like guy boss you don't even like, for real.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense that it's weird that people are looking at her weird because of where she's sitting. But I am thinking about her as a small folk, and
Mhm.
that's the
No, it makes sense. It's a great moment. I actually didn't even recognize her, so thank you for contextualizing. I was just like, of course I would cheer for him, so I didn't even put two and two together.
So then Dunk and Aerion start fighting again, and you could tell like Aerion is more trained and skilled than Dunk, but Dunk's just like bigger and stronger than him, and he then gets cut in the eye.
Flea bottom bitch. That's what that is. So, like
Yeah,
when he starts,
he keeps cutting the eye, but he keeps fighting, and then he cuts Aerion like right in the groin. And I was like, did he cut his nuts off? But apparently he didn't.
I'm curious about that too. Actually,
I'm assuming it's femoral artery. I'm like, is he not about to bleed out? Like
it
this is
seems
a
like you
perfect place
can't get a cut there, right? Like that was a
Mhm.
surprise to me. But
And
people
Yeah,
like to
I
see.
will say too, like it doesn't hurt that all his life Dunk's been slapped around and taking punches. Like Aaron's probably in his life, this is the second time he's been hit.
That's true. He wouldn't have a good beard for it. That's right.
Mhm.
we hear Maker call for his boy, and Sir Lionel comes over there to like stop him, and then he gets knocked off his horse, and his antler breaks, so he only got one antler on his helmet after this.
Sad.
So then Maker wants to go help, but then Baelor like stops him, and they're like pushing him back so
Pull
they
him
can
back.
fight one-on-one.
He's like, you can't, because you're cheating. Like he's like, this is what should have happened in the first place, and none of us should have been involved.
Right.
And they're both fucked up at this point. Like Dunk and Aerion, they're at the end of their wits. And Dunk is just sitting there.
Do you remember the movie Life, Charmaine?
Yes.
With Eddie Murphy and
oh yeah, that one.
Lawrence. If y'all haven't seen it, please go see it. It's a classic Black movie, but like they're in jail all their life together. Spoiler alert! And at the end, they're old men.
Spoiler alert from 25 years ago.
And they're still arguing at the end as like old men. That's what this was giving. Like them just stumbling around, like I'm about to fight you. Don't worry, come over here before I get. Like they're just struggling at the end of this fight because they both want to give up, but like it is to the death.
Yeah, and even there's a moment with Aerion too, like when Dunk does stand and he's like kind of waving, like not quite standing. Aerion goes, like you see it, like come on,
like,
lay down, motherfucker. Like I'm done. And then he just goes and grabs his.
Aerion tells him to yield, but Dunk doesn't yield. He just passes out. And then Aerion goes over to Lord Ashford. He's like, tell him it's dead. And they zoom in on Lord Ashford's daughter, and she's probably like, man, I was supposed to have this nice jousting match where, where I can get, what did I say they was going to call her? The queen of the beauty or something?
It's like the lady of grace and beauty or fairness
Grace
and
of
beauty or
beauty.
something
She's
like
like,
that,
I'm
which is
about to
like
get
a
crowned,
common
Dad.
thing for
It's about to be a
tourneys.
great birthday party for me, and I'm out here watching the trial of the 7. What kind of shit is this?
Watching a bunch of 30-year-olds all the way to 50 just beat each other up for what? For nothing. And they don't even believe in God.
Aerion's like, he's dead. Call it. And Aerion says that. Aegon's like, get up, Sir Duncan. Sir Duncan, get up. Get up. And then right before they're about to blow the horn, we heard this. And the Undertaker rose up. And Dunk stands up and he stumbles to the party. He's like, look at him. And the crowd goes, and they all gasp.
Way! It's so cute whenever Dunk.
He's got such a high-pitched little squishy
I know.
voice,
Like when he
too.
was like, yeah, with the horse, I'm like.
And Dunk gets his sword. And like Charmaine said, Arion's like, God damn, I don't really got nothing left. And he walks over and Dunk lets him swing first. And then he catches him, flips him over, and then once he can get on top of him, then it's just a wrestling match. And he can't beat him in a wrestling match. And so he takes his shield from him and starts smashing him in the face with his shield. Then he cracks open his helmet, and then he started.
1A!
Charmaine knows.
Brandon loves that clip.
Starts 1A in him. That's what he did. That's what 1A is.
No, that was great. That was literally it. But I was just like, you might as well finish him.
He started 1A in him.
Trouble.
He's too honorable for it.
And then Aerion says, I yield. And then Dunk picks him up. And right in the background, though, after he says he yield, we see Maekor. Maekor is just trying to get to his son. He's like just trying to get to his son. And he's so furious that he's swinging his mace like wildly all over the place. And then we see it like accidentally hit Baelor right in the back of his fucking head. This was after he yielded too, which is so sad. And so
it's like the extra tragic part of it. And because it wasn't a deliberate hit, it was clearly an accidental hit.
But it's also like, Maekor, let your son fight. Like, as it goes back to him, his fatal flaw. Like, your son started this, and your son had a lot of chances not to do this, and your son rigged the system so that it paid people off so that this would happen, and he's getting his just desserts. And if you didn't want to raise him right up before now or step in before now, like this is when you're introducing him to consequences. So I think it is obviously like one of the parts of the stories that's heartbreaking and important, but it makes me so mad because he doesn't have the right to be so indignant, because it'd be different. Like if he was Dunk's dad, obviously I get it, but your son chose this for himself and for you.
Yeah.
And he takes him over to Lord Ashford and he says, tell him. And
wait, you got to acknowledge, though, that he grabs him by one foot and drags him one-legged.
He drags him one-legged, yeah.
Because in the book, Aerion does say, I yield, but he says, I don't think, in his inner monologue, he's like, I don't think they heard him. So he picks him up by his leg and drags him forward. And in that process, while he's telling Ashford, like, he yielded, like, say it again, he says, I yield. And then he notices a knife and he picks up a knife and stabs him, or starts to stab him, or does stab him in his leg. And then that's the second time Dunk is ground and pounding him. So there's like 2 yields and a betrayal. And then Ashford finally blows the horn, or has the horn blown. But they didn't do that in the show.
I'm so glad they didn't, because I really would have wanted blood. I really
at that point, right?
Just end him at this point, because he's so dishonorable. So and like to the point where you're not the last person he's going to bully and treat this way. So you can't if you do believe in right and wrong, this is actually a chaotic good or whatever.
Yeah. Which is the reason why a lot of us have turned on Batman, because it's like at this point you're as guilty of the deaths.
Brandon says it all the time. Yeah. Again, I'm anti death penalty. I think the Joker just needed time and therapy.
He had time.
He just needed an ugly therapist.
Okay.
He needs someone not attractive.
So then he says, I withdraw my accusation. They blow the fight dead. Everyone cheers for Sir Duncan. Egg leads the crowd to go down there with him. Raymond and Steely Pete grab him, take him back to the locker room. They're back in the locker room. And the first thing Dunk asks is,
Locker
anybody
room
else
is so funny. Sorry.
anybody else die? And it was like, oh yeah, Lord Beesbury and Harding, they died like in
What's
the
his
first
name?
30 seconds.
Yeah,
Well,
like
one of the Humphreys is critical, but not dead yet. He dies a couple days later.
Humphrey Beesbury, Humphrey Harding. And then he says, all right, look, we're gonna fix you up. We gotta like heat some oil up, put that on your wounds. And Baelor walks in, he was like, what the fuck are you talking about? That shit'll
it's
kill
actually
him.
stupid.
Like, get some wine.
Can you imagine boiling oil and pouring it on a wound and being like, that should whatever chemical reaction is happening seems like it should work.
Should be work.
And then Dunk walks over and immediately bends the knee and says, Your Grace, I'm your man. I am your man.
He says, I am your man. Please, I am your man. He's at that point begging to follow the most honorable knight.
In other words, I don't know why Brandon didn't have this ready. He says, my man, my man, my man, my man, my baby. He's like, you really did something for me. I love you. I love you, Clay.
That was a good one. That was a good one. You got
Missed
a
opportunity.
rare good one in there. A rare good one.
It's
Always
not a
hating.
rare. It's also
Always
funny
hating.
because, well, what turned this scene for me too that messed me up was like, Dunk is clearly in bad shape.
Yeah.
But Baelor comes up and is like, I'm the prince, come help me. And so they just like abandon him, even though like I'm like, Dunk needs the OR. Like, what are we doing? And then we have the next part.
Baelor says, we need good men. The realm does. And Baelor asks Raymond for help with his helm, said his visor's cracked. And his hand feels like wood. And they walk over and they say, your helmet is smashed, Your Grace. And he says,
Meaning, by the way, paralyzed.
He says,
probably.
My brother's mace. You know, he's strong like that. And Steely Pete takes off his helmet, and then you see Steely Pete's whole expression change. And you go, oh shit. And then Baelor touches the back of his head and is bleeding. And he turns around and you see like half of his brain is missing. And then he just falls out. And I said,
other part of his brain is in the helmet.
Damn.
That's what it's giving. It's giving like you tried to dye your friend's hair and some of it comes out in your hand and you're like, don't look.
Messed up. Yeah, that's a rough scene. Book or
It's so
show,
rough.
like you just care about him at this point so much that it sucks.
Yeah, you're like, he's a hero. Like Dunk would have been dead for no reason because of this. The Targaryen, like there would have just been, and also it's just this cosmic sense of no consequences for somebody who was attacking this like local theater, right? Like the local theater geeks were just doing a show, a historically accurate show, and he decides to make a mockery or to make an example out of them and harming them, like torturing them. It really is like at the end of the day, like Dunk is very justified. So it just reminds you like nothing is really fair at the end of the day, especially here.
And then that was the end of the episode. We have Dunk holding Baelor, who's dead. And in very Game of Thrones fashion, they had the big battle in the second to last episode, which then the last episode, we're going to get the fallout from the battle, which is traditional with Game of Thrones. They do it all the time.
I'm looking forward to it.
I think this was perfect 6 episode season because it is based off a short story, and they've been like mostly book accurate throughout. There's only a few things like the fortune teller isn't part of the book, but it's something the show needed to help. You know,
love that.
And I thought it was a really good addition. And then the flashback, obviously, that helps you learn why Dunk is honorable and stuff. They didn't have that in the book, but they did really well, like encapsulating the story and showing us like how honorable Dunk is. I think they've done such a good job. I have almost no complaints.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about the length of the text. It being like, I think it just makes it a little bit more attainable to kind of get accurate, let alone kind of them probably processing a lot of the feedback from Game of Thrones. And as somebody who's like created, like written a show before, ending something is very hard. So like I don't get caught up on people's bad endings, but like Game of Thrones is so famously, people are so upset about the way that these things end that I think they, it's, I wonder if no matter what story they had picked up, no matter what order they done, by this time around, they would have like gotten to it a little bit. So that I think I find to be very interesting. And in general, I love how they played Dunk, like who they chose in Dunk to be, how they played him as a character. I think if he was a little bit dumber, it would bother me. So I like that he's dumb, but like he's still,
He has his
you know,
moments.
he's still with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he has his moments. And then obviously like the casting, everyone is just like perfection. So they really built up. Of all the people I thought would not make it through this battle, I did not think it was Baelor that we would lose.
When you read George R.R. Martin and you get used to what he does, he loves to kill the honorable. And so the first hint of someone's honorableness, I expect them to die. So in starting the Hedge Knight, which is what this season is based off of, I was like, oh man, don't make me fall in love with him. He's gonna die. And then there's 2 other stories came after. And so then I was like, oh, okay. So his story still goes on. But that means it's gonna be like I remember reading thinking like that means it's gonna be Baelor. And
yeah.
So it's hard to get attached to characters when you love the Song of Ice and Fire world, because like the people you care about the most or the ones that are actually honorable are gonna die.
That's the only thing that made me feel better. I was like, okay, Brandon said they're trying to do 8 seasons in a movie, so I know he's not gonna lose this one.
Yeah, and I think with this one too, George R.R. Martin is more directly involved. Like he was involved in the Game of Thrones, but he wasn't always in the writing room and he wasn't always guiding the story. So this one feels more accurate, I think, because he is part of the writing team on it. And I think he learned his lesson and he's like, nah, I can't let these random folks, just because they get a couple things right, I can't let these random folks tell my story. So I think they're doing a good job because of that.
But
And you know,
George
that
need to take his
actor,
ass home and finish that damn book. That's what he
needs
need
to
to
finish that
do. He need to finish that fucking book.
because the
Well,
other
it's 2
part
books.
of him not finishing
No, it's 2 books, right?
It's 2 books.
It's
Because
2 more
he wants to
books.
finish it in 7 books because the 7 is such a symbol of the whole
It's
thing.
Winds of
So,
Winter and something with spring, right?
Dream of Spring.
Dream of Spring. Yeah, he got 2 more books to write.
He got 2 more
What
books.
are you doing?
He's
Go
written
write
part
your
of
book.
both of them. He's just not done.
Well, what y'all gonna say if the last book is in 1989?
He ain't gonna be around in 2089.
No, I'm saying, what if like the last book is set in like the Targaryens are alive and it's like today? Because this is supposed to be like back in the day, and it's like the Targaryens like have Walkmans.
It's like a different world.
Yeah, I think
it's
it's gonna
different
be
world.
close to the same group of
Probably
people.
closer to that time. Okay, I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
Well,
Just
they're
because,
making,
you know,
they're making a show with Arya after she left to go west of Westeros.
I have been wanting West of Westeros, but she's not 100% on board.
I need it to be I need it to be everything Arya, Game of Thrones, Westeros, but Sex in the City. That's what I want. I don't want to watch it unless it's like her,
I mean,
and her
Macy
friends
Williams, by
going
the
out
time that
to
show
brunch.
get made, she's gonna be 30 years old.
That's
I
what I'm
know.
saying. Like, I just
She's-
want her and her girls going out to brunch and sleep in whatever dorm.
She already looks quite a bit older. And they canceled Jon Snow's show, which I think is smart because one, he was a terrible portrayal of Jon, but they messed his story up so much that they can only be fantasizing in this new thing. So I'm glad they canceled the Jon Snow.
But he's also busy. Like they really they for sure repurposed him in industry. He's been in the
Is
last...
Jon Snow in that?
Yeah.
Yes, he's a pivotal character. He's a very interesting, compelling character in this show. He's an addict.
I have such a hard time watching him now because of his terrible portrayal of Jon Snow.
No, give him a chance because he does a good portrayal of a terrible person in this show.
Okay.
And I gotta imagine that like I gotta imagine as an actor, you're like, oh my God, this is such an amazing show, but like to be a part of and such an amazing experience. But by like the fourth season, you're like, oh my God, the
Yeah, they were
bear skin
done.
again. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like I gotta get dirty. You gotta smear dirt on my face to play this scene. So I'm happy for these actors that get to play modern day stuff. Like Sophie Turner is in this show called Steel on Prime, where she like works in an office. I'm just like, oh, like these good people. So anyway, if you do think about our recommendations, it would be Industry, then it would be Welcome to Dairy, then it would be Cross.
Okay.
And that's my recommendation, not Brandon.
All right, so we're done, and we'll be back next week for the finale of A Night of Seven Kingdom and for the penultimate episode of Industry. We only got 2 episodes left of Industry as well, which is good. So we're rolling right through these.
Let's run through these questions before we wrap up. Human Help says, I have a meta question for y'all about show like this or period pieces that take place in mono-ethnic situations or societies. Like they can have dragons and prophecies and 3-eyed ravens, but they have to keep the homogeneous society. I thought there might be at least one Black person or Asian person, like in the House of the Dragon show. Great point. And
why
then
are you erasing Tanzel? Just erasing her. She don't even exist, huh? I see what you did there, Human Help. Just erasing Tanzel.
Tanzel in the books is Dornish, so she would look more like Pedro Pascal normally. Because no matter what, they do homogenous. Every segment is homogenous, but it's whatever it is. So like the Summer Isles is where the Black folks come from. And in the books, Fire and Blood, the Valarians aren't Black, but the show made them Black. And that's part of the mistake that they made. I mean, I want more color in the stories too. George don't know how to write people of color is his biggest problem. But with the 2 things they messed up in Fire and Blood, they made Rhaenys's hair Targaryen hair, but she's a Baratheon. She's Targaryen and Baratheon. She has black hair, which is why they're able to keep the strong bastards kind of hidden for like no one's as suspicious of them,
right?
Because their grandmother has black hair, and because they made them Black and the kids look white. It's like, bro, one of these kids should end up like, because I'm mixed. My brothers and sisters and my cousins, we all look different races, even though we're all the same thing, Black, white, and Japanese. So like one of them should have looked at least light skinned, but they didn't do that because also there's probably not enough people of color in the writing room and the casting and all that kind of stuff. So they fucked that up.
To talk about the phenotypes. Yeah.
I think it would be not difficult. They could keep the homogeneity, but make more of the sections of land different races, right? And just have them on Westeros instead of only brown people in Essos.
Correct.
Like they could do that, and it wouldn't change the characters too much because they don't address race in the show, or in the book, so they could do it. They do address it a little bit, like they'll note a dark-skinned person. Like in the show,
even
there's
dragons are still racist.
But I thought that was because they just wanted you, because books are descriptive, so they wanted you to know what the people look like. I thought that's what that was in the book.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, so in the show Game of Thrones, Roz, the prostitute that ends up being like Littlefinger's right hand lady, she's not in the book. She's entirely a show creation. But who she's stepping in for is a Black character, a madam in Flea Bottom that is a Brotham owner named Tyash, I think, and she's been around for a while. So like she's the one who helped Tywin, who is one of those repressed people, build a secret pathway from the Red Keep all the way to the brothel so that he could fuck without anybody knowing that he's fucking. And then later on, he threatens Tyrish. I forget how to say her name. He threatens her because she helps Tyrion. And he's like, Lannisters aren't supposed to be fucking. And yet here he had a special room that was just his room. And so that was a Black character that they could have had, and then they didn't do it. And in this show, I think the same thing. Like all these houses we haven't been introduced to a lot of them. Like the fossil waves is the first time we see them. They could have been Asian. They, they could have been,
Yeah, exactly.
Latin or something like that. Like any group could have been a different race. They just
that is definitely one of the
don't
fatal
think
flaws
to
that
do
like
it.
we don't talk about because it's fantasy.
Yeah.
But it really probably should happen. But Human Help did say I'm mostly asking these questions because of your interesting guests. So thank you, Charmaine, for giving all of your very detailed knowledge. But they've also been on her mind for a while. And then I thought what we were saying and what the question was made T-Face Koi say the Sea Snake Adventures would be interesting. And I agree.
Snake
Like
Snake
seeing,
Adventures would be. Yeah.
seeing him. And
That's
I
gonna be
don't
a
know if
cartoon.
I appreciate that, but they better do shading right. I know that. Like it better they better be
And
3D
make the
stop
hair
motion.
not look so terrible.
Yeah, the yarn braids.
Literal
It was
fucking
yarn.
yarn.
We used to do that in college because we
Oh
couldn't
my
afford to
God.
get our
I
hair
was
braided.
so
I don't know
angry. I
what
was
is
so
going
angry the
on
whole
there. It's funny
See,
though.
I felt
when we talk
differently about that because I think the Targaryen
course,
wigs
'cause
look
you ain't-
terrible.
Because you ain't got
Most
no
of the
hair.
wigs
So
actually do look terrible.
I just thought
I'm-
I thought that was the gimmick. That's their hair was not real looking hair in the books. They got ridiculous looking hair in the books.
In the books, that's fair. So, like the second sons, like a Dahario, however fucking say these names, he's purple headed or blue haired because the Tyroshis dye their hair blue. They dye it so it's not blue, but they dye it blue, and they dye their mustaches and stuff like that too. So he doesn't look book accurate at all. Anyway, they could have made him brown too. He's supposed to be olive skinned. I don't know if you count that white dude as olive skinned. I don't, but I assume like a pale person might.
Mm.
They don't
Fair.
understand skin tones.
No, fair, yeah.
But like they could have, I mean, Tyler Perry's got this problem. Like there are good black wigs out there. They just don't tap that market. And honestly, like fucking people on TikTok that do makeup things and tutorials do better wigs. So like tap that market and be like, hey, you do this well. Why don't you come on over here?
There's absolutely no excuse for HBO to not do anything. Like
With
HBO is just there's so much money, so much budget. So like it's a name that opens doors. So there's really no good reason. I mean, even just go to look at Insecure, which was a Sunday night show. Like we were never confused about the hair being done there, and it was intentional. So there's no. I think it can only be what do they say in the other show? Why attribute to malice so can be attributed to ignorance? I think this is like it's the same thing.
I just think, and for this one, I will defend them because I don't know how you make bright platinum blonde dreads fake look real. I've never seen a fake platinum blonde dread on any television show, even black people shows. Look
a real dread and you dye it to 613.
It's gonna look fake.
Or you do or you do faux locks, which you're not realizing, Brandon, is they actually use yarn.
They used actual yarn. They didn't use any synthetic hair or human hair or anything.
They used yarn?
Could have done that. It was actual yarn.
These are yarn braids.
There's one scene in particular you can really see it in the second season, and it's when the second daughter, the one that's not the dragon flyer, Damon's younger daughter, when she's looking for the wild dragon that's in the Eyrie, they have her back to the camera and she's looking forward at this hill or some shit, and you can see the yarn. Like they didn't even try to lock it. It was just literal strands of yarn.
Yeah, it's giving one of the writers had a black roommate in college and was like, well, I know this girl.
Like I've seen a black person one time. That's what that feels like.
Yeah, I want to share before we wrap up. I don't even know if Brandon remembers or knows this. So the name of the show was originally We Was Dragons, and it's because when the House of the Dragon promo came out on Twitter, RIP, so they posted in Corlys Valerian. We saw him for the first time, dark-skinned actor, like playing this character, and somebody else, like I don't even remember who, retweeted and said, we was dragons. And I was like, we was dragons. And that's why I was like, let's name the show We Was Dragons. And then as over time we realized like, oh shit, we're going to do more than just this show, obviously. So We Was Watching. But this is the show where it all started. And with Lord Corlys.
Yeah. Yep. And I like the theme of We Was whatever is significant to the show.
Yeah, it
I think
works.
it's good. Yeah.
It's silly. It is funny though when I try to search for it and I have to put in "we was watching Brandon Chanel" because there's other random like "we was." I'm like, y'all just redo it.
Yeah.
Redo your names,
The
please.
search thing is shitty because I had a hard time finding y'all too.
Yeah, we're shadow banned. I know it. It's my fault. Charmaine, we're so happy to have had you back. Thank you so much for being here, for our resident George R.R. Martin expert. We
Thank you
appreciate
for having me. I hope my little intercessions weren't annoying just because
No, they're so helpful.
I am the book nerd of it. But yeah, I love getting a chance to talk about it, and this one is by far my favorite show adaptation. So I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, this is a good one. What are any predictions for the finale? Or no, actually,
I can't predict because I know I know the
okay.
story. What I think they will do, though, I think they will throw a. I've seen the trailer for next weekend, so I think there's going to be like a wrench thrown in the process that gets to the end story. That's about as vague as I think I can say it, because it's a very short ending after the battle in the book.
Fair,
So
yeah.
to fill a whole episode, I think they're going to have to like give Dunk some kind of a challenge before he can wrap that section of his story up. Is that vague enough? I think that's vague enough.
Yeah,
without
thank
spoilers.
you. Brandon thinks he's cool by not looking at the next episode trailer, but I think there's a moment where Egg asks to be his squire full time, and he's like, "I don't fuck with princes no more." So, that's all I know is that there's going to be some type of answer about like how does Dunk and Egg's next phase look like? What are we going to? Is Egg going to go back to the castle forever type shit? So I'm looking forward to that. And Brandon, any other thoughts?
No, because I didn't watch the preview.
Well, okay.
In general,
even ignoring the preview, you already know about Duncan the Tall because he's mentioned in
Correct.
Game of Thrones. So
I know that. I told Chanel that. She didn't even remember that.
Yeah.
Who's Duncan the Tall?
Yeah.
I'm
He's
like,
referenced
Chanel.
so many times.
They talked about. I
I
said that to. I was like, Chanel. They talked about him all the time in Game of Thrones.
He's got 4 pages in the white book, so nobody else has 4 pages in the white book.
I wish I could tell you how much TV I watched since Game of Thrones. Like Game of Thrones ran through me like I didn't even save space for it. That's why he has to remind me of stuff because I'm like, who? And I look him up. I'm like, oh yeah, I do. Okay, it's a lot. Anyway, it's
Even though I know as much as I know, I still get confused with the names. You know, like Rhaenys and Rhaenyra, I couldn't separate them for the longest, and now I can, but it took a really long time. And since the Targaryens rename everybody, it's really frustrating because you have to be like Aegon 5th of his name, but some of the non-kings are duplicate names, so then you have to go by the son of
there's a million Baelors.
Like
the fact that I pulled Corlys out of my ass is like I was proud of myself because
honestly, Corlys is one of the blackest. I know there's a lot of black names amongst the Targaryens, but if you're gonna tell me that Corlys Velaryon is not a black dude, I don't know that you've ever met a black dude before.
Yeah,
that's a hella black ass name.
Fair enough. Okay, so any other last thoughts in general, things you want to share at the end of the episode, Brandon?
I'm looking forward to ending this so that I can get to paradise, baby. So we can go to paradise.
And heated rivalry. That's on the table now.
Yeah,
look how we turned 55 minutes of TV into 2.5 hours. So let's wrap it up here. Shout out to the chat today. T-Pace Coys, Human Help, and Tommy T. Frank for checking in. I think somebody else came through, but either way, good to see y'all. Thank you for showing up 2 nights in a row. We appreciate you guys. You can find Charmaine's info in the show notes. Brandon will at the very least tag her somewhere. What social are you on?
On Instagram, I'm at Charmaine Fury, SHARMANE, or Militantly Mixed, Blurred Comics, MIXED. I think that's all of them. Yeah, because I don't think Old Man Wade and I haven't put together an Instagram for the other show yet. So
yeah, well, make sure to tag it so you guys can go find her and support her other shows and projects. Go back to House of the Dragon if you want that good thing back and find the episode that we do with Charmaine. Brandon is I think has nothing else to say. So I'll wrap it up here. You guys, thank you so much. Yeah, it is pretty late. Thank you guys so much for staying up with us. We really appreciate you. We'll see you guys next Monday for another industry recap for We Was Banking. In the meantime, if We Was Watching is watching it, then you should be watching it